Yo, what's going on, guys? Hopefully, y'all having a good Sunday night, man. Um, Look, there was a whole lot of news, a whole lot of things that have happened over the weekend, and yeah, let's talk about it, man. First and foremost, we have an amazing fight between Sonny Edwards and Bam Bam Rodriguez. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, man. I'm not a fan of Sonny Edwards at all. It's not that I'm not a fan of cocky fighters. I just feel like if you're cocky, like your resume has to speak about it. He's got to follow through. You can't just be cocky and not done nothing, right? And that's what I felt Sonny Edwards hadn't done in his career. He hadn't done shit. He hadn't beaten nobody to be thinking that like he's the greatest little man that ever existed. Like, bro, you haven't fought Sorung Pinsai. You haven't fought Roman Gonzalez Chocolatito. You have not fought Carlos Cuadras. Who have you beaten, to become a champion? And who have you beaten? Wow, that's a fantastic catch by Zay Jones. And who have you beaten to who have you beaten? And the answer was absolutely nobody. He hadn't beaten nobody. And so by that standard, I was pretty impressed how Sonny Edwards fought Bam Rodriguez. I thought the fight was not close. Maybe Sonny won 1 or 2 rounds. But I knew that he pulled every single stop that he had in his book because he was rabbit punching, he was initiating the clinch and trying to soften Bam Rodriguez. Bam would drop his, like his tightness and his intellect a little bit, and then boom, he would soften him up, and then Sonny would throw in a little cheap shot right here off the clinch as Bam Rodriguez kind of lost focus. He was leaning on him like Klitschko would do to the smaller heavyweights and then uppercut him underneath. Sonny pulled all the stops. So I didn't really think that he won more than 2 rounds in this fight because even the rounds that were close, Bam was still the dominant fighter. He was superior to Sonny in every single way. Sonny could not outbox Bam because Bam had a better jab. He was faster and better from the outside. There was really nothing Sonny could do other than just be an opportunist and try to steal the rounds. But luckily, if you're astute and understand how Bam was dominating the whole fight, then you would realize that the knockout was inevitable. It was going to come. But I was not surprised that Sonny had a lot of heart because he's a champion, right? At the end of the day, he has a belt. At the end of the day, he's also undefeated. But I was morely impressed that he had a lot of heart, right? Because in the build-up, for those that watch the build-up and the trash talking and the face-off and the sit-down between the two fighters, you can notice that Sonny was saying, oh, I'm going to outbox him. This fight's not really going to be competitive. I don't know if Bam is my best opponent that I've ever fought because I have to first step into the ring of him. I was just like, bro, this guy's an undefeated champion with the best resume that you've ever faced. And all of a sudden, you're here to say that you don't know if he's the best fighter that you fought on paper. Like, who have you fought? You had trouble with the guy from Chile, right? And that was no Bam Rodriguez. Anyway, man, both fighters gave us an amazing fucking fight. And there was a great way for the little man divisions, right? What a lot of people refer to as the booger weights. It was very refreshing for these guys to give us a great fight at the end of the year. Like, this year has been fantastic, right? If we just run down the list of fights, the most impressive ones like Teofimo Lopez versus Josh Taylor, Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence. Some of these fights, not a lot of people expected them to happen in that manner, right? Devastating or just one-sided beatdowns. Like, Not many called it. This fight this year has been incredible. And I believe next week is Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wallin for $40 on pay-per-view. That's not a bad fight as well. You know, it's not what I would like to see, but it's not bad. It's pretty fucking good. It's not a pay-per-view fight by any stretch of the imagination. But nevertheless, it's still a good night of boxing. I'm going to miss this year, man. I'm not going to lie. As we wrap up the year of boxing, I am going to miss 2023. In the previous live, I stated how 2023 has been an excellent year for me. Obviously, it's been an excellent year for boxing. But I don't know if 2024 can top the big fights that we had this year. I just don't see it happening. You know, maybe you can say Tank Davis versus Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson. But I don't fucking think that punk-ass Tank Davis is going to give us any of those fights that we want to see. Right? I mean, he only fought one time this year, maybe twice this year. I want to say maybe in January he also fought Hector Luis Garcia. But pretty much was Ryan Garcia in April, and that was it. I know he went to jail for a little bit. I believe he went to jail for a little bit. So I don't really have a lot of confidence in Tank Davis to give us the fights that we want. I mean, to this fucking day, 10 years later, the motherfucker still hasn't given us Lomachenko. 2024 will not be better than 2023. It just won't be. Even if Anthony Joshua finally decides to fight Deontay Wilder in March 9th, guess what? None of the two fuckers are champions. So in terms of undisputed, the relevance, it's no longer there. It's a cash grab. I don't give a fuck to watch Deontay Wilder in his next fight against Joseph Parker. I don't care about it. I don't care really to watch Anthony Joshua versus Otto Wallin. Because if you're giving us these two fights to build up to March 9th, then I just know that both of these fights are a money grab. This fight, you might sell it to me for $40. On March 9th, it might be 80 or 100. You should have given us when it was 80 or 100 when both of you guys were undefeated and all the titles on the line were on the line. You know what I mean? When it was for undisputed. But now Tyson Fury, who knows if he's ever going to fight Alexander Usyk. Supposedly they come to an agreement, right? But this next coming up year, 2024, I don't think it'll be better than 2023. Who is Canelo going to fight? Will Canelo give us David Benavidez? Apparently, the motherfucker is a king and he sits on the throne and he calls the shots, you know, like Game of Thrones. And he says, I don't need David. As if the fans wanting David Benavidez to fight Canelo Alvarez, right? As if that is a sin. All we're saying, Canelo, is David has a good chance of beating you. But we also know that you have a good chance of beating him. We just want to see the best fight the best, bro. We've loved your journey. We've loved all your pay-per-view bouts and your fights and your legacy. You got beat by Bivol. We're still supporting you. So I don't really care if you win or lose. I want to see memories. You know, 30 years down the line, I want to be like, yeah, guys, I got to watch Canelo versus David Benavidez live for an epic trilogy. But if you tell that to Canelo, he gets really offended. Oh, if it's not this guy, it's next guy. And it's just like, bro, what is wrong with boxing fans? That's why I don't trust Canelo to give us that fight. For that matter, I really don't trust Anthony Joshua to give us Deontay Wilder. And I damn sure is not going to hold my breath for Tank Davis to give us Devin Haney, Shakur Lomachenko. Because if they made us wait for 10 years, what's another fucking year? So I don't really think that's going to happen. Maybe Dimitri Bivol fights Artur Beterbiev next year. But again, I'm not going to hold my breath. So I don't really think 2024 is going to be better than 2023. Because at the end of the day, you would think that these guys would just be professional and handle the business accordingly. But we have to fucking beg on our knees, man, for these fucking fighters just to do what every football team in the NFL does on a weekly basis. Baseball, basketball, tennis. The best going up against the best. Don't matter if they fart on TV and it's an embarrassing moment, or they get knocked out or shart, their fucking leggings for football. Like, it doesn't even matter, bro. They give us on a daily basis what we ask for. And I don't think boxing in 2024 is going to give us what we want. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm very pessimistic. Maybe you can be like, actually, on the contrary, Ricky, this year is going to simply just carry over to 2024, and it's going to be another fantastic year. Look, man, in 2013, that was a great year of boxing. We had Marcos Maidana versus Adrian Broner. We had Canelo Alvarez versus Floyd, right? Then we had Marcos Maidana versus Floyd. That was a great year in 2023. And then in between was just nothing but filler. 10 years later into 2023, we fucking finally get the fights that we've all wanted for. Damn near, essentially. Devin versus Lomachenko, Tio versus Josh, right? And Demetrius Andrade, Jaime Munguia versus Devinchenko, Luis Neri versus Asa. Both Joe Cordina fights versus Agawa and Eduardo Vasquez, right? Oshaki Foster versus Rocky Hernandez. Navarrete versus Valdez. The whole list of, man, every single month there was an amazing fucking fight in boxing. Every single month was almost like 2 weekends of fantastic memories. Like, when I go back starting next year in January and just replay every single amazing fight that happened in 2023, man, like, just great memories, man. Great memories that I can, just talk with my father and my mom about them. Like, man, let's rewatch this one. It was impeccable. Drew, us on our knees, bro. That's what it feels like. Sports Archive, salute. Salute to you, Drew. 1, 2, 3. Them 49ers, though. They're looking pretty good, man. I am not going to lie. They look to be one of the most complete teams. I'm going to say it's going to be between the Niners versus the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. I think the Bills, they realized the ball 50 times. That you have 3 good running backs, right? And Leonard Fournette, Latavius Murray, and James Cook, that you can dog the fuck out of these dudes. You don't have to pass and be such a finesse team with Josh Allen. Be smart, man. The Buffalo Bills right now are one of the teams that you don't want to go into the playoffs, because on record and paper, 7-7, you're like, I've seen better teams. But that's the thing about inconsistent teams. 1 week, they look fantastic. Like, man, like how the Bills looked against the Cowboys. No one's beating this team. And then at the same time, you can see them against, like, the Jets, and you're like, bro, what the fuck is this? You don't want to ever face an inconsistent team in the playoffs. Sports Archives goes, my Jack's going to get dog walked tonight. Look, man, I hope not. I hope that it's a competitive game. It's so far so good. I mean, I feel like they got to get a little closer for the field goal kicker. He's missed 2, 50-yarders and above. But if they're able to get, between that 40 to 49, I mean, I think the score is like 10-0. Could have easily been 10-6. So even without like a couple of their weapons on the field, as long as Evan Ingram doesn't pop off, hopefully the Jags pull up a good fight, brother. Drew says, and Kyle Shanahan. It looks like it. Look, man, I've seen this story being told as a Niner fan too many times, man. I'm just going to let I'm not even going to wear my George Kittle jersey, my Niner chain. I'm not going to do none of that. I'm just going to, bum it out, and hopefully the Niners go to the, February, and we're in the Super Bowl in Las Vegas, and I'm just, I'm not going to jinx it, man. I can't do it to myself. 2023 has been fantastic. I've not even worn the jersey one time. I've not even gone to one game this time. And I'm just not going to jinx it, man. I'm not just going to jinx it. I'm going to buy the newspaper when they win it. Just says, so if Kyle wins the Super Bowl, is it still fuck Kyle Shanahan? That's a good question, man. It's a good statement. look, I'm not a big fan of Kyle, right? But I will say what he's been doing this year has been not incredible, because this is what my expectation was. The answer is no. Look, man, it's just the expectation of a Niner fan. It's kind of like if you're a Dodgers fan or a Yankees fan or just whatever type of fan, you know what I mean? That's like has a history of winning. You know, you just got to look at it like this, man. When you have a history of winning, I mean, the expectations is nothing but, you know, sitting on top of the throne. And with Kyle, it's just like, how many first round talent do you possibly need? You need a all pro, damn near an all-star in every single position for you to succeed. You know? So is it fuck Kyle? I mean, I feel a little indifferent. Like, I don't really care about Kyle. You know? I just feel like there's players like Trent Williams, like George Kittle, like Fred Warner that have been with the team for a good minute. And I'm like, I just want a Super Bowl for those guys. Because still to 2012, you know, when the Niners lost to the Ravens in the Super Bowl, it's like a melancholic feeling that I have that we didn't get Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, the Hawk, Deshaun Golson, all of those guys, Frank Gore, Vernon Davis, Alex Smith. The fact that we didn't get them a Super Bowl, this team just doesn't hit the same as that 2012 team. I mean, I'm still a diehard Niner fan, but I'm just like, I feel bittersweet still, like 10, 11 years after the fact. All right, hold on. The answer is no. Sports Archive says, I like the Ravens too, so I don't really care. Drew goes, it's impossible. Sports Archives, I like the Ravens too. Okay. Drew 123, we don't really need them. We just need Debo and Christian and Trent Williams. Scholar the Destroyer says, hi, Herms. Salute to you, brother. I don't think Warp Speed is on. I don't think he's on just quite yet. And that'll be Germ. This is Isho. Drew 123 says, that team doesn't compare to this team. What? I mean, maybe it does compare. I just feel like, bro, every single, that 2012 team, right, with Jim Harbaugh, it felt different. You felt reinvigorated. You fucking felt like you can take over the world, right? The fact that that same team, the past 5-10 years, just could not win or had a winning season with Mike Singletary, you know, Mike Nolan and company. And then all of a sudden comes this guy from Stanford, khaki pants, right? Jim Harbaugh. And he goes, nobody done it better than us. Nobody. Or whatever the fuck the slogan was. Who's got it better than us? Nobody. Bro, he had Alex Smith believing in himself that he was a top #1 draft pick. Frank Gore was balling out. That team, oh, bro, you can't tell me that this 2023 team is the same as 2012. Like, fuck no, bro. Like, in what? No way. Drew goes, the most complete team since '89. Unfortunately, we had to face the Legion of Boom, bro, in the Seattle Seahawks. And the fucking Baltimore Ravens with Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Haloti Ngata, Ray Lewis. Unfortunately, those fuckers were pretty fucking good too. Drew goes, Niners repeated in '88 and 1989. We are looking like that. So then how come and if that's true, Drew, how come James Conner and company ran over us for 212 plus yards? I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't ever remember when we had Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman. I don't even think we had a motherfucker that run over 100 yards on us. And you mean to tell me that the Arizona Cardinals can do that? We ain't looking like that. Warp Speed. Yo, man, you guys got to log on, man. Warp Speed goes, good evening, fall to one and all. Sports Archives, Drew 123, and Scholar Carr, the Destroyer. Salute. Salute to you, Speed. Drew goes 123. That doesn't correlate to the Super Bowl. Look, man. Let me see if you guys are on here. Man, you guys are still not on. You guys got to hop on. Look, man, coupled with going back to boxing, I don't want to deviate into football and going back into boxing. Shout out to Jose Rayo Valenzuela. Sheesh. And shout out to Stephen Colbert for giving Rayo Valenzuela the rematch to undo a wrongdoing, right? Because Stephen Colbert could have just walked away. He didn't have to give him that fucking fight. But I'm glad that he did. Just for the sake of clarity. I mean, when I watched the fight live, the first time Rayo versus Stephen Colbert, Colbert did not win the fight. He barely won 4 fucking rounds. And he got knocked down in the first round. Now, Rayo didn't finish the job in the first fight. If you can knock him down in the first round, well, how come you couldn't set up that punch? Stephen Colbert had a good understanding as a shorter and smaller fighter to pop a good jab and keep Rayo, changing his rhythm and offsetting him. But Stephen Colbert did not win that fight. Unfortunately, sometimes in boxing, you can only win if you get a knockout. I don't know about you guys. I haven't looked at the scorecards between Sonny Edwards and Bam Bam Rodriguez. But that referee from Arizona, he was not on the side of Bam Bam Rodriguez. He's a little pandering more and letting Sonny Edwards getting away with a lot of chicanery, right? He's letting him get away with borderline dirty tactics or just simply dirty tactics, not borderline. But at least he was consistent. If Bam wanted to get dirty, he would let them fight dirty. There's a couple of times that Bam had a couple of low blows, so he let it slide. So I guess you can say he was pretty consistent overall on the night. But I'm glad that fight ended in a knockout because maybe they gave it to Sonny. I don't know. I guess you guys would have to check in and see how you guys score the fight. Like I said, just to regurgitate just a little bit, I thought Sonny only won 1 or 2 rounds. The rounds that were close, Bam was still the clear winner. But Sonny was very crafty and very aware of knowing how to steal the rounds. Kind of reminded me of Bernard Hopkins, how he would instigate a clinch and then fight with the one free hand. There's a whole lot of that type of activity from behalf of Sonny Edwards. Most of you guys might be like, well, Sonny fought the wrong fight. He should have boxed from the outside. Nah, I thought he fought as best as he could. Bam was just a better outside boxer. He has longer arms. He had a better jab. And Sonny did not want to make it into a jab fest because he simply could not beat the jab of Bam. Triple G, fools was saying Sonny the Rat King had more skills, man. Yeah, man. They try to say that shit. I was like, look, Robert Garcia said when he was bringing up Bam Bam Rodriguez, he was saying that this might be his version of Manny Pacquiao. And what he meant by that, Robert Garcia, I said Robert Rodriguez, the film director from Texas. Robert Garcia, when he said that, speaking highly of Bam Bam Rodriguez, he was saying that he might be a 5-time, 6-time divisional champion. He can move up to a lot of weight classes, referring to Bam Rodriguez. So if that's the case, then I expect Bam Rodriguez to beat these guys at 108 and 112 pounds relatively easy. If that's what Robert Garcia is saying, and I believe Robert Garcia because he's a righteous man. Just get him away from Alex Ariza and Freddie Roach. But he's a man that speaks a lot of truth, and he's very fair. And if he speaks that highly, knowing that he has like Neno Rodriguez, Hector Tanajara, Jose Ramirez, Virgil Ortiz, all these fighters in company, and if he's saying that Bam Rodriguez is his version of Pacquiao that can be a 5-time, 6-time divisional champ, then I expect him to knock out the Sonny Edwards of the world. Hell, to be honest with you, I expect Bam Bam Rodriguez to knock out Roman Chocolatito. If you cannot knock out a 40-year-old inactive Chocolatito, then Bam Bam, I don't believe you're that guy that's going to be a 6-time divisional champion. Because what happens when you go to 118 and have to fucking fight a Nonito Donaire? What happens if you go to 122 and you have to go up against Naoya Inoue? I don't know about you guys, man, but Sonny Edwards is not a power puncher, and he was constantly snapping the head back of Bam Rodriguez. Bam Rodriguez got to tighten up that chin. He's got to tighten up that defense. Because I know he was hawking and stalking and looking for the KO, which he got. But, man, if you're going to be a six-time divisional champ, Bam, from 108 pounds to 112 to 115 to 118 to 122, that would be 6 times. You got to be better than that. You got to be better than that. Triple G goes, Bam is top pound for pound now, ahead of Stank, Shakira, and Hanky. Mexican boxing, #1, baby. Drew goes, wow, even Inoue? Nah, he ain't beating no Inoue. Double G goes, no, Inoue, if he stops Tapales, he is definitely #1. But Bam should be ahead of the names I mentioned. All right, Ultra Instinct. You're going to tell me, bro. You're going to tell me Bam was more impressive to you than how Hanky dominated Regis Pro Grade. No tune-up at 140. Straight to the champion at 140. Dropped his ass. Pitched a shutout. And had that dude lumped up like that midget from 300. You know, the one that betrays King Leonidas? You mean to tell me that Bam Rodriguez was much more impressive than beating my precious Lord of the Ring Foley? Come on, man. Come on, man. No way, bro. Yo, Speed, Drew, are you guys on? Oh, you guys are finally on. Thank you, guys. You guys are going to have to hold it on, do your own thing. Yo, Speed, mic check real quick.
The homie Ricky, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, man.
Well, homie Ricky, thank you very much for, of course, allowing me once again in this, what I reckon to be a very important live. One of the last ones, I'm sure that we will have an opportunity to discuss all things boxing before the end of the year. I'm sure that we have a couple of other fights and other important boxing related news to discuss in the foreseeable future. But for the most part, homie Ricky, I really appreciated the way that you broke down last night's fight. You were cooking. I really agree with you. This past fight, this unification at 112 between Jesse Bam Rodriguez versus Sonny Edwards was an incredible inclusion for how great the years of boxing has been so far. 112 stood up, they came, they gave us a bloody, violent affair, and they just added on to the incredible year. And in fact, an unforgettable year that we have had so far in this year, 2023, the year of our Lord. And the homie Ricky, first off, I just want to address, right? Because I'm sure that a lot of people are going to be like, well, you know what? The homie Ricky brings on Warp Speed, and Warp Speed always tends to use as his icon a fighter that perhaps I disagree with. Why did he use that icon? Why did he not use Jesse Bam Rodriguez icon? Well, because I think there's really not much to discuss, right? As far as Rodriguez, I'm sure that if you hop on any other channels, any other broadcasters, you will hear people elevating and praising the accomplishment of having beaten a fighter as defensively responsible. In fact, one of the most elusive boxers in current milieu, a man that some people have donned and nicknamed the modern Pernell Whitaker. And the reason I decided to use Sonny Edwards as my icon is because I have to give that man respect. You see, everything that Sonny Edwards did in the ring the day of yesterday was an example of how he carries himself with his heart in his sleeve. And Bam Bam Rodriguez, the way he fought, exactly in those moments that you addressed, homie Ricky, when he's getting popped in the head with simple jabs and things of that sort, that's because Bam Bam Rodriguez allowed the pressure and the naysaying of Sonny Edwards to get to him so that he started a fight with his heart on his sleeve. And we already know that Bam Bam Rodriguez tends to detach his emotions from the way that he fights. Because of Sonny Edwards, we got a lot of eyes into this fight, a 112-pound division, one of the most ignored, diminutive weight classes there are in boxing. And because of Sonny Edwards and his big mouth, him starting the fight, the reason that night yesterday was so meaningful is because Sonny Edwards did his job. Bam Bam Rodriguez would not have sold that fight because Bam Bam Rodriguez doesn't really speak much. Like most Texans that I know, they're just hardworking folk. They just should like to stay mum about who they are and what they do, and they take action, right? So the way that Bam Bam Rodriguez conducted himself is very typical of the people that I personally know that come from Texas. Now, that's not to say, of course, that Edwards is typical of the Irish living in the UK or anything like that, that they are bombastic, highfalutin, loud-mouthed individuals. Uh, but I will say this: Bam Bam Rodriguez is the type of fighter that lets his fist do the talking. But last night, he got a little carried away because of the way that Sonny Edwards got under his skin. Because of Sonny Edwards, his big mouth, and the fact that he got under Rodriguez's skin, we were able to see a destroyer come to the fore and beat one of the most defensively responsible and elusive fighters in current boxing milieu. An incredible contribution for the 112-pound division to this year that, in fact, I think is one of the greatest boxing years in history. I am glad to say, homie Ricky, that although my life this year has not been the best, I know how you talked about how this one has been 2023 has been one of your greatest years as far as accomplishment and whatnot. In my personal life, I had ups and downs that I've never had before. I got sick after 35 years, quite sickly. I had personal issues.
Bro, you got sick last year too.
No, no, no. The last year, no, no, no. Look,
No, no, no.
allergies
Last year you got sick too. Bro,
of
last year
what?
you got sick too. Hold on, hold on. And I made amazing Thanksgiving food and we had to cater to you and your family because all of you guys got
Oh,
sick.
yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Stop
so
lying.
that's, but that's because. No,
Nah,
wait,
you're
wait.
good.
That was
You're
2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. And the reason for that is because
good.
I,
Last
again,
year.
no, no, no. That was not last year. It was 2 years ago, or three maybe, because time flies by quick. When I ended up, you know, you know, getting that vaccine and all, and then finally getting sick. But nonetheless, what I'm trying to say is this: if my life had its ups and downs, the fact that boxing has been so great just negates all of the negativity in my life, the bad things that happened to me in my life. I can say that boxing made my year incredible. And I have to say, Sonny Edwards is a man that I truly respect. Where other people are saying that he quit, where other people are taking words that he never said, that he told his corner to end the fight, there is no footage of that. So now people are plugging in a lot of words into that man's mouth that he never said solely because they dislike the guy, without accrediting the fact that the reason why they felt so emotional and desirous of seeing that man be destroyed was because he talks a lot.
So he's
But
not getting that date with Claressa Shields, huh? Since he didn't win.
I don't know nothing about that man, but Clarissa
Uh,
Shields probably, yeah. And hey, if he still wants that date, he should take it. But
look,
I'm not
man,
too
let me
sure if
read some of
Clarissa
these
would like to
comments though,
go
real
out with
quick.
anybody with a destroyed face like Sonny Edwards currently.
Look, man, let me read some of these comments. GG goes, no, if Inoue stops Tapales, Marlon Tapales, that's going to be happening on December 26th. He is definitely number one, but Bam should be ahead of the names I mentioned. And Bam stopped a young, undefeated fighter in his prime. Regis was an old, dead, and bored. Everyone to tears. Stop capping. And anyone who knows boxing knows Henke got his ass kicked by Loma this year. Bam came off an injury, moved back down and wait to unify against the number one guy. Now champ in 2 divisions. Bam, Rayo, and Benavides all showed up and showed out, showing Mexican boxing number one. The Scholar, the Destroyer says, Texans G. Yeah, man, they came through and they won tonight and beat the Tennessee Titans in overtime. Miss Bitch, salute to you. Says, bless
Oh
you.
God.
Ricky, you're a AAA battery. Drew, A+++. Scholar the Destroyer says, Texans got cold around Cali. Texans got cold around Cali. Miss Bitch goes, the white chocolate raisin cookies. Let me pin that real quick. That is going to be the quote of the day. Some white chocolate raisin cookies sounds pretty good, actually. Oh yeah. The Mexican G says, Sonny was done. I'm not going to lie to you. I agree. I still wanted to see him get slept. It was a good fight, man. Great fight. Sonny was the dude, bro. I mean, I was really impressed. And I will say that, I guess I'll tune into his next fight, man. That guy deserves, the praise. I'm not gonna call that guy
Of course he
coward
does.
or
Of course.
that he quit or anything of that. Nah, man, he gave a great valiant effort. He spoke his piece. He just couldn't follow through, but hey, he at least
Yep.
tried.
Yeah.
GG's go, stop it. Sonny quit like these Crips, Rodriguez and Dudu. He went past talking when he said Bam was a cheater for being with Snack, but won't call out how his pets like
Yeah.
Haney.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's definitely
hilarious,
ultra
man.
instinct. That's
Hold on,
definitely ultra instinct.
hold on. The Mexican G says Inoue shouldn't even be on the pound for pound list.
That's just cap. That's
Wow.
just cap. That's
Hold
just
on,
cap.
hold on. The Scholar the Destroyer says, who will she choose? Nariz chata o el orejas de coliflor? Nariz chata o orejas de coliflor. What's he talking about, man? What's he talking about? Let me see. All right, first and foremost, GG goes, stop it. Sonny quit like these Crips. Nah, Sonny didn't quit, man. The corner stopped it. The corner is supposed to protect their fighters. Sonny, bro, his face was cut up and open and gashed up like in the 8th round. And he still kept dogging it out. His nose was busted like after the 3rd. And he couldn't see after the 2nd. He never quit. He ain't gonna quit. But this fighter, you gotta do what you gotta do, and you gotta save him from himself. The Mexican goes, Inoue shouldn't even be on the pound for pound list. Let me tell you something, bro. You talking out the side of your neck. Look, he beat and knocked out Nonito Donaire to become undisputed. Now, I don't know if it was this year or it was sometime last year in December. Then he beat Scooter, Stephen Fulton. Bro, he destroyed that man. Like, utterly destroyed him. Just he was faster. He was the better boxer. He did it with power. He did it with elegance, creativity, and he fucking beep, lights out, bro. James Toney, bro, it was incredible. No way, bro. Look, pound for pound isn't just about resume, and Naoya's resume is amazing, by the way. It's about his skills, bro. His skills is up there. If Dimitri Bivol had power, check this out. If Dimitri Bivol had power, it would look like Naoya Inoue. He bounces in and out with the 1-2, kind of like Bivol did all night against Canelo. If Bivol had Naoya power, right, in his respective weight class, Naoya Inoue would knock out Canelo Alvarez. If Bivol had Naoya's power, he would knock out Canelo Alvarez. Bro, what are you talking about? I was mostly excited to see Rayo El Cuete Valenzuela versus Colbert too. I was definitely fight of the night in my opinion. Bro, Inoue hasn't beat anybody in boxing. All right, first and foremost, Rayo Valenzuela shouldn't have even had that rematch, okay? He beat Colbert in the first fight. 6-4 plus a knockdown, okay? This fight, everybody knew the knockout was coming, except for Stephen Colbert. But at least he gave, Rayo an opportunity to right or wrong, and that's exactly what he did. But how is that fight of the night when we're just talking about Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez? I mean, no way, bro. Like I don't agree with this. Drew's writing in some Japanese font. I cannot decode that. Miss Bitch goes, Benavides didn't even use 30% of his power to beat Dudu. You're absolutely right. He did not. All he needed was that four that just punched right through the cranium of Boo Boo Andre and just split his wig in half. Boo Boo became cross-eyed. He fell down on his pom-poms, tried to get up, walked towards his corner with Andre Rozier. That corner was hyperventilating, panicking, could not give him instructions, and saved Boo Boo from a devastating knockout. That was crazy. That punch was, man, David Benavides, that monster, he's doing the great things with Memo Heredia. Hopefully they continue to fight and just be a team because they're doing proper shit over there. Amazing. The Mexican G goes, hold on, GG goes, Inoue, an Asian, is a real fighter. No Twitter wars. He just gets straight to it. And if he gets undisputed, he is fighter of the year and #1 pound for pound. Yeah, bro, he'll be a 2-time undisputed champion in less than 12 months. That's impeccable. The Mexican G goes, they just want to overshadow the Mexican fighters. Bro, Bam Bam Rodriguez is Mexican. The Mexican G goes, Marquez slept the Asian hype, Pacquiao. Well, if he slept the hype, then why are you giving Marquez credit? If Pacquiao is hype, you can't give him credit. He's a hype machine. Bro, you're shooting yourself on the foot. Miss Bitch goes, the Mexican G 100. That's all the LDBC haters. For sure. Drew 123 goes, anyway, the next pack. Maybe. Drew 123 goes, I'm smoking crack. Miss Bitch goes, the Mexican G, you not wrong, cut. 100. The Mexican G goes, salute. Latinos over Japanese fighters. All right.
Okay, homie Ricky. Let's get back. Yeah, let's get back to brass tacks. So it seems like the chat is particularly chatty and very divisive on on what they figure is a pound for pound fighter, who should be accredited and who should not be accredited. And in our podcast, we do not curtail your freedom of expression and of opinion making. We don't do that, but that does not mean we have to agree. Like for example, a lot of what is going on right here, without knowingly seeing what they're doing, like you just mentioned, one guy calls Manny Pacquiao a hype job, but yet gives Marcus credit for having beaten a hype job. The only way you give Marcus credit is for admitting that Manny Pacquiao is a great fighter, so that when Marcus beats him, you say he beat a great fighter. So you have to think before you speak, because that way you're basically hurting your own argument and you making your own
fighter in Marquez.
Exactly. So Domi Ricky, let's get back to brass tacks, right? Which is basically this fight that took place last night. And first off, homie Ricky, I just wanted to express to you, of course, that you have you seen Sonny Edwards fight before?
Honestly, never. That was my first time ever watching him fight.
Okay. Wow. Are you guys kidding me? You guys didn't even see the you guys didn't even see that fight between what's his last name? One of the twins from
Maloney?
No, Honduras. Goodness, Alvarez or
Twins?
something like that. Yeah, he there's some twins that they fight for Golden Boy, right? They fight for Golden Boy. And
Are they black?
no, they're from no, they're from Honduras or
You're not
better
talking
yet,
about the Grady. You're not talking about the Grady twins, are you?
no. They're no. They're this guy. Is that Drew, by the way?
Yeah. What's up?
All right. You're hilarious, Drew. No. They're from. I have a friend from that country. Let me think.
Those are fighters that I just named.
Wait,
Grady
who are
twins.
this? Where are the Sandinistas from? Sandinistas. Wow.
I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
We're having a hard time. We're having a hard time identifying this.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's these fighters, right? That are twins, two brothers. They fight for Golden Boy, and they are very scrappy, durable Central American fighters. And in fact, Sonny Edwards beat one of those in a very hard fought fight for both of them. Sonny Edwards, of course, he won. Sonny Edwards is a type of fighter that really doesn't lose any kind of rounds, especially not consecutively, right? Because he is a very defensive, responsible fighter, and he's a very good counter puncher with good timing and good speed, right? He makes you miss. He circles around. If you don't know how to cut off the ring or go to the body, if you're trying to headhunt, he's gonna punish you. But of course, because he is a backwards fighting individual, there is really no power or pop in his punches, right? It's basically just point attaining. Now, when the homie Ricky states that Sonny Edwards was being dismissive and likely dishonest when he stated that he is uncertain on whether or not Jesse Bam Rodriguez was his toughest fighter to date. All you have to do is look into the record, and you have to understand that the level of competition that Sonny Edwards has had, although creditable, and there had been some good champions there, they have never been pound for pound fighters, right? And the thing is this: Bam Rodriguez has been a candidate for being a pound for pound fighter since last year and a half, when he ended up fighting from as low as 108, hopping all the way to 115 to beat Sor Room beside the Thailandese fighter and Carlos Cuadras, the Mexican, one of the four kings, right? He beat both of them back to back. So he went up there to 115, became a true champion, and then he came back down to 112 to take on a couple of fighters that gave him a very tough fight. Nonetheless, going back to Sonny Edwards is a very defensively responsible fighter. And Sonny Edwards, even though he's been very defensive, he has never fought a fighter the caliber or with the aggression and the technical prowess, with the incredible footwork of Jesse Rodriguez. Now, if you know anything about Sonny Edwards, you know that fight yesterday was not Sonny Edwards' fight. That's just a matter of fact. Sonny Edwards could have made last night's fight a stinker.
No, he couldn't.
Yes, he could.
No.
Because you've never seen him fight. And I have seen him fight, to let you know right off the bat that if he didn't want Bam Bam Rodriguez to hit him as much, he didn't have to. But the fact of the matter is this: he ended up speaking so much crap, right? And he ended up having to back that crap up, that he ended up doing what I've always said defensively responsible fighters should do, especially if they are so quick and so dominant and so defensive. I always say you should stand your ground, make them miss, use that incredible movement and footwork to just slip out of the punches in a couple of inches and then throw out there. And that's exactly what happened. If you've never seen a Sonny Edwards fight, you know that Sonny Edwards has never had a fight like that. Now, I'm not trying to say that Sonny Edwards, all he did was stand toe to toe versus a fighter that's not greater than him at toe to toe. No, Bam Rodriguez did good in going to the body, right? He absolutely did. And in fact, he went so much to the body that he ended up hitting that UK fighter in the balls at least 5 times clearly. He was called out on it. But all I'm trying to say is he hit that man so many times to the body that he ended up missing a few of them and hitting that man right where you need to develop and procreate your children. He got called on it. On this last fight, he ended up getting points deducted from it, and he ended up knocking down a guy from hitting him in the testicular region. I'm not trying to discredit Bam Bam Rodriguez. All I'm trying to say is Bam Bam Rodriguez did the right thing when he decided to fight dirty when Sonny Edwards was doing some dirty tactics, and then Bam Bam Rodriguez reciprocated by doing his own expertise at dirty tactics.
Let me ask you something. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Floyd Mayweather's a better boxer than Sonny Edwards. And how come Floyd Mayweather couldn't put on a stinker against Marcos Maidana when we all know that Mayweather could put on a stinker? You know why? Because Marcos Maidana is a fucking dog. Same thing with Bam Bam Rodriguez. He was the better boxer from the outside. Sonny couldn't even use his fucking jab because Bam had a better jab. He was the better fighter on the outside. So Sonny tried to get scrappy and fucking make it a dog fight. Guess what? Bam was better at that than Sonny. The reason I bring up Mayweather versus Maidana is because we all know Maidana can box people from the Floyd Mayweather can box dudes from the outside. But why couldn't he do it against Marcos Maidana? Because Marco Maidana was much more dangerous on the outside than he is on the inside. And Floyd Mayweather knew that. Sonny wanted to know that as well. If you watch the fight, when Sonny tried to circle around the ring and use his lateral movement, guess what? He wasn't that successful. Bam's jab was superior because he was taller and he had a longer arm. So Sonny was in aspects in that tactical approach, he knew that wasn't going to work, which is why he came forward. Anyway, so that's why I got to disagree with you on that. He couldn't put on the stinker because Bam was not going to allow him. Again, Bam knows how to cut off the ring. Bam feels that he is superior. Bam knows that he can knock him out. It's just a matter of time. And guess what? He showed him that Texas heat. He was on his ass, and fucking Sonny cowered down. Well, he didn't cower down, but you know what I mean. His face started to deteriorate. He was gutted, and Bam Rodriguez did a job on him. Period. So no, I don't think he can make it boring and outbox him because he's not the better outboxer.
Well, then I just encourage you to show some highlights of Sonny Edwards being a defensive, flawed fighter. I'm not too sure if you guys
on screen right now. On screen, you see Robert Guerrero Jr., the taller son, the son of Robert the Ghost Guerrero. He's a taller fighter. He's about 6'1", and he's fighting a guy from Salinas named Gio Cruz. Robert is a natural outboxer because he's tall. He's got long arms. Gio right here with the red shorts is not letting him. He's making it into a fucking fight. This is what I'm trying to tell you. There's sometimes you can't outbox certain people. You got to fucking fight.
Look, homie, Ricky, those guys are not employing lateral movement. They're not circling around. I don't care what you say. None of that is what Sonny Edwards has done ever in his fights before. I'm trying to tell you, he is not a pocket fighter.
A pound for pound fighter like Bam.
No. I understand. I'm not trying to discredit. I'm just trying to tell you that what Sonny Edwards did to contribute to one of the most surprising and violent fights of this year, which is basically abandon his typical winning style in the sake of doing everything he could to win in foreign country. Now, let me tell you something, homie Ricky. I'm not too sure if you know this, right? Whenever there's bettors considering who they want to put their money on for a win, right? They factor everything. They factor who's the A side, who's the B side. They factor where the fight is taking place. They factor styles. They factor the odds. They take all of those things into consideration, right? Because depending how the contract is written and where the fight takes place and under what conditions and what weight classes and all those other things that take place in the negotiations, that's how an intelligent bettor will decide who has the odds in their favor, right? And Sonny Edwards addressed that in the press conference. He said, I'm fighting in his backyard, right? I'm fighting in his backyard with a bunch of his people. I'm going over there where this guy is working with Victor Conte and doing things his neck.
So he's making a bunch of excuses already.
No. He's telling you the facts. Sonny Edwards was a champion, right?
Drew, what do you think about this?
Oh man, honestly, I've been scorching these guys on the comments because I was watching. I didn't have the subscription this month, so I was just watching highlights. I was actually really focused on the Showtime, on the last Showtime card. But yeah, no. What do I think about what?
What do you think about what Drew, Warp Speed is saying, bro? Motherfucker, bro. Why the fuck don't you just run it with my bad, I'm talking football over here.
But you're saying how Sonny Edwards fought?
No, what do you think of what Warp Speed is saying?
Man, dude, like I said, I was scorching these guys in the comments. but
Well, keep
but
doing God's work, Drew. Keep doing God's work,
dude,
because I'm
honestly,
here to educate you guys.
yeah, no. I mean, this is the thing. I can't really say much about it. I can't say if he's wrong or right. I've never seen Sonny Edwards fight. It was just Bam that I was like, I've seen him fight before. Um, so I didn't even watch the fight, bro. Honestly, I was just waiting. That's why I came in late so I can like start talking about the Showtime card. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what you're saying, man. It sounds crazy, man. Because Bam's that dude. There's a reason why. Nah, I was gonna swerve off to fucking anyway. But I was like, there's a reason why he didn't want to move up. But I'll just talk about him. Like, I guess he's that dude from 112 and under, right? I don't know.
All right, let me read some of these comments real quick. I won't go too far deep because G goes.
Yeah, I went in, bro.
I usually think Ricky is a cuck, but he is right about Bam now allowing Sonny to do what he does. Drew goes, okay. The G goes, he's a mediocre fighter. See, this is what I'm saying. If you're saying Sonny is a mediocre fighter, then you don't give Bam any credit, bro. Because if he's a mediocre fighter, he's supposed to knock out mediocre fighters.
Okay.
Crazy.
So from what I heard, go ahead.
Sorry, hold on. Bro, listen. Sonny tried to back foot bitch it. He tried to back foot bitch it. But Bam was landing hellacious body shots early on and slowed him down. The Mexican G goes, I couldn't tell you. Then why he move up, Figueroa? All right. Nonsense. I don't care about him. He's not. Keep going, Warp Speed.
Yeah. So okay. And here's the other thing. Sonny Edwards addressed. Oh yeah, go for it, Drew.
I was just before this fight started. The only thing I've heard was that Sonny was a tough fight, and it was truly 50-50. And for Bam to come out and knock him out like that, like the way he did, he didn't sleep him. I seen him. He just the ref just kind of stopped, like stopped it right then and there, right? Like he didn't sleep him like Colbert did, right?
Yeah. Even better. He slept him even better. Yeah, because you know how Colbert fell with one punch and then he ended up sort of like spinning halfway and he ended up laying on the floor for like 3 or 4 minutes. This guy slowly broke down, fell, and then he landed right on his face. He got face planted. But here's the thing though. Sonny Edwards picked himself up. He got on his knees. He looked at the crowd and he realized there is this kid right here, a 23-year-old. Sonny Edwards is 27, that I'm not going to be able to beat. He gets up. There's a few seconds left in that fight. The bell sounds off, indicating that the round is over. And here's the thing, guys. Where people think he quit, guess what? His corner had already made the decision for him. Sonny Edwards stumbles towards his corner, and the very first indication that the fight is over is that his corner does not bring out the stool. Sonny Edwards looks down like, where is the stool? There was going to be no stool because the crew had decided that Sonny Edwards, his night as a champion, was over. So ain't nobody going to say that Sonny Edwards quit when someone makes a decision for your health, like a proper cornerman and trainer should do, and say you will fight another day, and they make that decision for him. And in fact, if it wasn't going to be him, the doctor was gonna make the decision for him, because the doctor had already been approximating himself to the corner and looking very attentively at the lacerations that were forming at the brow and underneath the eyeballs of the fractured orbital Sonny Edwards. Now,
I had seen a highlight.
Yeah,
Sonny
go for
was
it, Drew.
dragging his. I seen a highlight where Sonny was dragging his head. Like his head was like on the ground, and he was trying to pick it up. Like he was having a hard time picking it up. Like he went from his head straight to the ground. Like I thought it stopped right there. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like right before I got knocked out.
So that is basic. I think that's what you're talking about when he ended up, having to pick himself up. You probably saw like a slow motion, or maybe it was just an edit that made it seem that way.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was a very
that was it.
devastating punch that ended up knocking down and almost out Sonny Edwards. But here is the thing, right? A lot of people here in the chat tonight are calling Sonny Edwards a backwards walking bitch.
Wow.
And I laugh at that. I laugh at
Damn.
that because Sonny Edwards did not walk back in this fight. And I know that everybody here that's saying about backwards fighting and everything like that, I know they've never seen Sonny Edwards fight because that's all they can say. They cannot give me the stats for how Sonny Edwards had performed priorly in this fight. They're actually saying that the fight was a 50-50. That's ridiculous. If anybody knows about Sonny Edwards, he was the favorite. And I'm just going to tell you, because I don't think any of these people here, the ones that are naysaying and criticizing Sonny Edwards and claiming and elevating the praises of Bam Bam Rodriguez, I don't think they know that most professional fighters had been actually calling for a Sonny Edwards win on a unanimous decision because of how defensively astute and capable he was, and with the great punching. You guys don't seem to understand that, and I'm looking for the report that I have seen, right, where I'm just gonna read out how many people had Jesse Rodriguez as a clear loser, and I'm gonna surprise you with who actually had Jesse Ramirez as the winner, because everybody here, nobody said that Bam Bam Rodriguez was going to be knocking out Sonny Edwards. The reason for that is because all they heard was how defensively responsible Sonny Edwards was. But let me just read out to you, right? How many professionals picked Sonny Edwards by unanimous decision? All right. Here we go. I'm just going to give you some names. And these include professional fighters, pundits, reporters, and people in the know. Anson Wainwright, Edwards, split decision. Diego Morilla, Rodriguez, on points. Okay. Marty McCahey, Rodriguez, UD. Duke McKenzie, Edwards. Tony Torch, Edwards, split decision. Andres Campos, flyweight contender, Edwards. Tom Gray, Edwards, UD. Some had Rodriguez TKO. Robert Diaz, obviously, Rodriguez, MD, right? Here's a good one. Rich Marotta, the Northern California pundit and former reporter. He had Rodriguez for a TKO. Tony Sims had Rodriguez on points, right? Now, do you see anybody here saying knockout? These are professionals. Now, why didn't they say knockout? Because you're not gonna knock out Sonny Edwards. He's so elusive. He breaks records for how many consecutive rounds he wins. He has been called the modern day Pernell Whitaker. This guy cannot be hit. Now,
Hold on, bro.
I'm just trying to educate you all. Now let me tell you the only person that matters that actually had Bam Bam Rodriguez winning and by knockout. Guess who that man was? Can you guys just take a guess who you guys think actually called out Bam Bam Rodriguez to win by knockout? This is a very meaningful fight, by the way, because this is no. Chocolatito didn't have an opinion. Estrada said that he had, if I'm not mistaken, Juan Francisco Estrada, who's likely is going to be Bam Bam Rodriguez's next opponent. He said that he expected Bam Rodriguez to win it, but the only fighter that had him by knockout that matters is Julio Cesar Martinez. Now think about that right there, guys. Julio Cesar Martinez.
Who does he remind
Now,
you of? Who is he
Okay,
in the
all right,
modern
hold
day
on,
of
hold on.
boxing?
Let me bring a little bit down to this reality, bro. All right, hold on. First and foremost, don't ever compare Sonny Edwards to Pernell Whitaker, bro.
Ever.
Don't ever do that, bro. Because Pernell wasn't just slick, and he was slick against the best, like against Oscar de la Hoya, but he also could knock down people and hurt them. Okay, Sonny Edwards doesn't even have that capability to hurt people, let alone knock out people. Okay, so and also this, I'm gonna correct myself a little bit because like maybe 20 minutes ago I said that Sonny Edwards didn't really beat any undefeated fighters. Well, he beat two of them. Okay, Andres Campos and some guy named Jason Mama. Okay, he's a Filipino guy. So at least I'm wrong in that aspect. Okay, so at least he has some credible opponents that at least have an undefeated record or unblemished. Okay. Everything about Sonny Edwards, aside from that, bro, is irrelevant. Look, man, I'm not gonna shit on Sonny Edwards because if you shit on Sonny Edwards, you're going to shit on, Bam Rodriguez, and I'm just not going to do that, right? Because one carries over to the other. Sonny was a good little boxer. That's all I'm gonna say. He was a good little boxer, and that's it. He didn't have combination punching. He doesn't have one hitter quitter. He doesn't even have great footwork. He doesn't even have great head movement. Okay. Just to get out of range and circle out and take a step back to de-escalate a situation, that's fucking easy to do. It's not difficult. It's the easiest form of boxing that I can teach you. What I can't teach you is to have balls, to stand in the pocket, to slip and stand there, hit and not get hit.
that is
That's
true.
much more skill. Hold on. So, for instance, anybody can essentially do what Erislandy Lara did. Shit, when I was teaching myself boxing, that's what I fucking try to do. Erislandy Lara, because I didn't have any good teachers. It was the easiest form of boxing, just to circle out and be athletic from the outside. That was easy. What took skill was to slip and be like Canelo did when he was fighting a great puncher in Triple G in the second fight, right? That's when you saw class. That's why in the first fight, everybody thought Canelo lost and it was a robbery because people didn't respect that type of skill. That wasn't that great of a skill. But to do what they did in the second fight, that's the greatest accomplishment that a professional fighter can ever come to. With elegant and class on the inside, making a miss, rolling with the punches, head movement, still slipping in there. Not what he did in the first fight against Triple G. Anyway, so Sonny Edwards isn't that talented as people want him to be or what he thinks of himself. Now, on that notion, I want to go and read one of these comments from the Mexican G when he's talking about Robert Garcia. Okay. He said something right here. He goes, Bam has potential, but he's not going to get far training with Robert Garcia. He doubled downs and he says, look what happened to Brandon Rios because of Robert punch drunk. Robert doesn't teach defense. Bam needs someone to teach him the sweet science. Okay. First and foremost, there's probably only one trainer, maybe only one Mexican trainer that's better than Robert Garcia, and that's Nacho Berenstein. Now, Nacho Berenstein trains a lot of fighters, but his most accomplished fighter is Juan Manuel Marquez, right? He's my favorite fighter, all-time legend. Dude's amazing. But he also trained Ray Vargas, Esqueleto from fucking Nacho Libre. That dude fucking sucks. That dude's horrible. So if you're going to put Nacho Berenstein in front of Robert Garcia, because you can't say Manny Robles is better than Robert Garcia. Manny Robles is an amazing trainer. But he's not better than Robert Garcia because you're just focusing on Brandon Rios. What about Mikey Garcia, bro? What about Marcos Maidana? He took him to the highest pinnacle fighting up against Floyd and actually beat him in the first fight. Also beat Adrian Broner. The huge upset. What about
Man, we could name so many more
Brian
upsets
Gloria?
on top of that, bro.
Absolutely.
Whenever
Bro.
Robert Garcia is the coach on the corner, it makes me feel a lot better like as far as me going for that fighter. You know, I'm like
Absolutely.
Robert Garcia's coaching him. Damn, he might just win. You know,
And let's make no
so
mistake about
yeah,
this. Brandon Rios overachieved in his career. For a
yeah,
guy who was amazing at 135, Brandon Rios, and could accomplish good things, Brandon Rios was very undedicated to the sport of boxing in terms of weight cutting. Brandon fucking liked to eat a lot of good food, but he
yeah. I
had a
know.
great chin, and he used his chin. Robert teaches fundamentals, and he expounds upon what you already are, which is what a great teacher does. For instance,
Yeah,
he's a great nurturer in essence. If you're good at this, Robert, do what you naturally do and just expound on it and make it a little better and tighten it up. That's what he did with Marcos Maidana. He was like, bro, I like your ruthlessness. You're a brawler, but let's just incorporate this jab, incorporate your chin tucked down, and incorporate just a little bit of stepping and footwork, and boom. Look at Mikey Garcia. Also, Mikey Garcia overachieved, except kind of like Brandon Rios, he was very undedicated to the sport of boxing, and he wanted to cash out and retire after Errol Spence because he shouldn't have moved up to welterweight, even though he beat Jesse Vargas. He should have just stayed at 135, 140. But Mikey also didn't like the weight cut. The Mexican G also goes, Jose Lopez was a punching bag. Also, Robert Garcia as a fighter. How ironic. Again, Robert Garcia was a decent boxer. He had a good record. He just met Chico Corrales. Chico Corrales was a bad fucking dude. Okay? Look at the amazing fight that he had against Jose Luis Castillo. One of the greatest fights, if not the greatest fight that I've ever seen. Robert
My
Garcia
favorite fight.
Robert Garcia is a good fundamental trainer, a great fighter. He doesn't make the most athletic guys, right? But he doesn't just teach you to get punch drunk and just show your chin. Absolutely not. He teaches you good footwork. Look at his best fighter in terms of boxing ability would be Mikey Garcia. A lot of people don't want to give Mikey Garcia or Robert Garcia the credit for making Mikey Garcia, right? They always want to give it to his father, which is a fair point, right? The big G, the father. I can't tell you who should deserve much more credit, but Robert has done a great job. Look at what he did with Anthony Joshua on a short notice against Alexander Usyk. Is not just a defense and taking punches. Nah, man. Robert Garcia is a really good trainer. Is he the greatest trainer? No, I wouldn't say that. You know, is he the best that the La Escuela Mexicana has to offer? Probably not. I would know so, because at the end of the day, all it takes is one fighter to really legitimize you. And at the highest pinnacle, we would say that Canelo is probably the greatest Mexican boxer in the history in terms of accomplishments. Not so much of memories and amazing fights, but in terms of accomplishments, there's no Mexican's ever been undisputed. You can put Andy Ruiz because first Mexican heavyweight as well, right? But at the same time, Eddie Reynoso had done a great job with Oscar Valdez, was doing a great job with Ryan Garcia. He does a sucky job with that guy, Rocky, Julio Martinez. Martinez just got I don't know, he's just a weird explosive fighter. But but yeah, man, I'm not gonna shit all over Robert Garcia, man. Robert Garcia has done a great job, and look what he did. You guys have to understand
Yep.
is it's not just teaching boxing, defense, and all that. It's also teaching your fighter and nurturing them not to overwork themselves. A
hmm
great trainer keeps their fighters healthy. A great trainer limits sparring sessions. A great trainer limits training sessions. Oh, go get some
hmm
rest. Go stretch out. Go do some fucking yoga. Go for a fucking swim in the ocean. Robert is a great nurturer. He builds a great environment. Look what happened to Virgil Ortiz when he left Robert. Lost all the momentum. His father that's been training him since he was an amateur, guess what? He was overworking him. He could not tell his son, take a rest. Because like Warp Speed says, I know some great Tejanos and they're nothing but hard workers. R&R is needed. So nah, man. The Mexican G is a Guatemalan. He's a fake Mexican. The Mexican G, like the big G, Robert Garcia's father. I don't know. Robert was a tough fight. Okay, Adam Hurley. Salute to you, Mr. Adam Hurley. Welcome in, brother. I talked to Lorenzo Medina on Thursday, the day before he knocked out his opponent on the Jake Paul card. He's a 19-year-old heavyweight that's I can't really see that because my 9-0 with 8 KOs.
He's Lorenzo Medina is Floridian heavyweight, I believe, of Puerto Rican uh, lineage, who is signed to Jake Paul's most valuable prospects. And yeah, he's good. And in fact, I think between him and another one of the more valuable prospects in heavyweight right now, which is Richard Torres. I think between them they've done a little bit of back and forth. So someday, guys, we might see these two very explosive,
I
very quick, and aggressive fighters face each other. I believe Medina is a bit more boxistic, whereas Richard Torres goes more for gusto and a quick knockout. But that will likely be one of the fights that we, if we are lucky enough, should be able to see pretty soon. And that's awesome, Mr. Hurdy, that you had an opportunity to speak to the man, because uh, when because he is a very self-assured young fella. He really believes in his skill. He signed to a promoter and Jake Paul that obviously has the reserves to make
I was
fights happen
watching
for him.
I was watching his last fight, and I actually watched the one prior to that, and he was kind of like having trouble with this guy though, and it was somewhat of a not a letdown. Everyone was expecting the KO is the thing, and he was just having a hard time with this guy. I'm not sure, like, did he knock him out or not? I know this dude that he fought. I had seen him before against like Torres, I think, or I forget who. But this dude's been down, and but he was considered resilient.
Is
And
Lorenzo Medina the guy that looks like Andy Ruiz with the back tat?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I
yeah,
actually seen the Jake Paul one. Then I saw
yeah,
him. He looked
yeah.
pretty good. We were just talking
Yeah,
about it.
yeah. We were just. I think I was watching it with you, Rick. This guy was like kind of flabby. Like he moves like Andy Ruiz to me, but they call him. They want to dub him as like as a James Tony, And I was like, I mean, I kept having to watch it to like believe it, and I'm like, I don't see it. I see because I wasn't around to like watch James Tony at the same time, but and he looks like Andy Ruiz to me, and that's not a bad thing, because he got hands, and I think it's he's gonna have a hard time with the lengthier guys, but man, he's gonna give some fits, bro. Like I can see him being a solid contender. I know you can't really like be let down too much just because he probably had like maybe an off night, but at the same time, as for an off night, he still won. And yeah, dude, he's gonna make some noise, bro. Like with the right opponent,
Yeah.
I can see him like upsetting some like an elite fighter, bro, because of his hand speed. But he's really
Well,
good.
he's a very good up and comer, Drew. And in fact, he just fought this past Friday, where one of my favorite female fighters, Miss Franchon Cruz de Cern, she ended up fighting what many people favored to beat her convincingly, Miss Shadesha Green. He fought right under that fight card. He ended up being dropped, if I'm not mistaken, in the second round by his opponent. The fight still developed a little closer than what the favorite fighters should have had, which was obviously Medina, because he's with MVP. And then at the last minute, right, when the commentators were talking about how this fight was so close and that Medina should just go a little more aggressive to try to see if he can win convincingly. As soon as they said that, no more than 2 seconds after that, he hits his opponent, chin checks him, knocks him out. That's the kind of fighter that you need to fight and win those type of fights convincingly, because you don't want to start letting fights go to the scorecards when you've been knocked down in the sixth round fight. You really should go out there and destroy your opponent. And it's almost like if he heard the pleas of the commentators and listened to his corner and their sense of urgency and said, "Bro, This fight is too close for comfort. I think you should try to do something out there. And he sure did. Lorenzo Medina had a great exhibition this past Friday. And I'm not too sure what happens. One of our listeners, Double G, is saying that Medina might chin check Baby Anderson. Wait. I think he might not. No, he's talking about the top rank fighter. Okay. I thought he was meaning Baby Miller. Yeah, no. So I apologize for that. I guess maybe, you know, uh, uh, Double G right there is talking about the guy who is really the heavyweight prospect at top rank who doesn't want to have a long career at heavyweight, who doesn't really care about titles, who just says he's there for a fun time and not a long time, and he's always talking about money. So whenever you have a heavyweight fighter or any fighter that's talking about money instead of accomplishments, instead of becoming a recognizable, renowned name, instead of taking on the best fights or pleasing the fans, you have to question whether or not their heart is in it for the long haul. And the long haul includes ultimate violence and devastation. And I don't think that Baby Anderson has it in him to do anything big in the sport. But I'm uncertain whether or not Medina would actually beat that guy right there. I think maybe Double G is smoking on some stuff.
Pinchy Lamar Jackson. Let me ask you guys a question since on the topic of Bam Rodriguez. Who is he going to be fighting next? Gallito Estrada?
So that's the guy who people are calling for him to fight. But here's the thing, the homie Ricky. Uh, uh, El Gallito Estrada is at 115, right? And Bam Bam Rodriguez just unified at 112. So you have to ask yourself, right? Why is Bam Bam Rodriguez willing to go up and weight again? After having already become a champion and beaten two of the four kings at 115, he went back down to take three fights, if I'm not mistaken, at 112, one of those being a unification fight. And now he's talking about going up and weight again. Now, one thing that you have to consider is the fight between Estrada is the one that he is calling for next. He himself is actually asked for that fight, right? He's not calling out Chocolatito. Apparently, he has a
Hey,
fondness
that
and a
dude
respect.
fights next month. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I
Who
thought I was
fights
on
next
mute.
month?
I thought I was on mute. Fucking that dude Jose, the one that's sparring, right now.
Yeah,
The
Luis
one that
Chavez.
Yeah, he's been fighting a lot, bro. Like he's been winning some and then he'll lose like one or two, but he's been winning more than losing. But he
Oh,
fights, bro.
wait. Who you got? Who you saying? Angel Chavez, the guy in red, or
Jose's been
Pero?
yeah, yeah, he's been
Oh,
fighting a lot, bro. Like he's surprisingly, bro, like he was on some like on PVC cards. And then he fought on under like UFC fight night cards, like you know how they have like boxing and they'll like switch the ring, but yeah, no, he's been fighting on PVC cards, bro. And
is your uncle still training him or no?
yeah, yeah, he's
Nice,
like
nice,
he's been with him for a minute. But I've
nice.
learned that he's known my uncle since he was 12 years old.
For sure. Another
So
person that might be having a fight as well, and he's doing a pretty good job. And I don't know if he's signed to Jake Paul, but but he just fought on DAZN was Angel Chavez, bro. Um,
Hmm.
he's been slowly but surely building up his profile ever since he signed up to
I had
the Rick Ramos.
I was telling Nestor from like Nestor Gibbs from the Boxing Voice.
Yeah.
I told him about it. I told him about Angel actually because he was talking about him. He goes, "Oh, I don't know anything about him, so let me know if you guys like heard about him." And then I was like telling him about it. I was like, "Hey man, I got like check him out like on YouTube. Like I got there's a sparring footage of him, you know." And then he was like, "Oh, for sure, you know, check him out." And then yeah, he was like following Jose right after that. But yeah, I was telling him about that Angel guy, and he was like, "Well, you know what? I actually met him like once at Bob Santos, and I guess that's how he knew. You know, that's how we heard about him. He met him
Yeah.
through Bob Santos, and that's why I sent you that picture And I was like, look, that's Angel Chavez right in the background. Remember I showed you?
Yeah, yeah,
That's funny how I was like, this guy, he's all trying to pop out in the picture. He's like, let me get one in real quick. But yeah, no, he's just trying to get his exposure, because
yes, sir.
he's just trying to get that exposure, and I can't blame him for that, So I hope
Yeah, I
he makes
met
it,
him
man.
when he was like
Salinas,
16 years old, bro.
bro, remember seeing him? Me and you were watching him spar. He was probably like what, a sophomore or a freshman in high school, like
Who is that?
Angel Chavez.
El Angel Chavez.
Oh wait, Angel Chavez. I was the first one to ever make a video of one of his fights.
No,
Um,
Rick was. No, I'm just kidding.
no. He was gonna be the main event. I was carrying my DSLR. I talked to him because he was 16 at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, and talked to his parents and said, "Listen, this is a big fight. Two undefeated fighters from the city of Salinas, and I would like for me to be able to get close proximity shots of the work that you guys are going to be doing, and get on the corner to be able to." Record what you guys are going to be saying and so forth and so on. And I had to go to both camps to tell them that. And they agreed. And I made the very first video. Angel Chavez fighting, I know his last name is Maravillo, but I forget his first name.
Yeah,
Um,
Jorge Maravillo.
Jorge Maravillo. And I believe that ended up becoming I believe maybe it was a draw, but it was a very close fight. It was a very close fight. But yeah, I remember that kid. That was a video that I made for him. I guess that's a promotion, but in reality, you guys can just go to, I guess, on the homie Ricky and just look up Maravillo versus Chavez and watch some of these current professional fighters start off as amateurs, becoming the main event in the city of Salinas, California. Now, going back to boxing talk, guys. You guys asked.
Just to elaborate a little bit. So
On that.
Angel has signed with Bob Santos, and I think he's now based out of Las Vegas. Angel, the
Yeah.
guy in red, and then the
No,
guy
no,
in
no,
blue,
no.
he's still here in Salinas, and he's signed with Ruben Villa and Max Garcia and company.
Yep.
So just a little
Angel,
fun fact.
Angel, Angel trains in San Jose.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's
he
where
train-
Bob
he-
Santos is from.
Yeah, he
Okay.
trains.
I thought they were Las Vegas.
Nah, him, and fucking Mario Barrios. I think they live together or some shit like that. Like they go through training camp together.
Yep.
So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so going back to what you guys were asking yourselves on whether or not the next man up for Bam Bam Rodriguez would be Juan Francisco Estrada, El Gallo. And this is coming from Bam Bam Rodriguez's mouth, as reported today on Jake Donovan's Boxing Scene report titled Bam Rodriguez eager to face Estrada for a 115-pound crown dismisses any chance of Chocolatito clash. Right? So he has no plans of fighting Chocolatito. And I don't know what you guys think about that. If you guys think Chocolatito's too old, long laid off, right now he doesn't even need to beat that one of the four kings to get Bam any kind of name recognition. I'm not too sure what you guys think about that, but
What I
Bam
would
Bam
think-
Rodriguez doesn't really think he doesn't want, in fact, to fight Chocolatito on account that he has lineal and WBC champion Juan Francisco Estrada as the target
Well,
in his mind.
first off, I have if I was Bam Bam's size and stature, I would probably try to become a jockey because they're millionaires. No, I'm just kidding. But
Oh, God.
but but they do make a lot of money, bro. But you got to be a certain size for that. But
Yeah.
what's it called? Nah, man, he needs to fight Chocolatito, man. He needs to go for that fucking for that legendary shit, man.
Yeah, but he does expound the Drew. He does expound and he explains why. He says
Why?
people always ask that. There is a lot of respect between me and Chocolatito. He goes on, Mr. Honda. I'm not too sure if you guys know who Honda is, but he is the promoter, the head, the boss of taking promotions, Japanese outfit who has had men such as um, uh, the Venezuelan fighter who just retired, Jorge Linares. He says, Mr. Honda, the head of Taken Promotions who promotes both of us, I don't think he would like that too much. And I say, I don't think it's a possibility because we have too much respect for each other. And yet, Estrada is a great champion. That's probably a bigger fight for me. Now, I think that's logical, right? I mean, that if they're both fighting for the same promotion, there would be some kind of a conflict of interest, especially if the head of the promotion wants to move you guys in separate paths. And I think maybe that would explain why Bam Bam Rodriguez has been moving the way that he has. Recall, guys, the Bam Bam Rodriguez once fought as low as 108 pounds. Just a few years ago, 3, 4 years ago, he was fluctuating weight between 107.8 to 111 point something. So he was teetering around 108, 112, right? Now, this was before he was even climbing up in the ranks to in any of those weight classes to even have a shot at a championship, right? Remember that Bam Rodriguez was a 5-day last minute replacement when they ended up fighting Carlos Cuadras on the top on the zone promoted fight, right? He got the call 5 days before. Cuadras' fight fell through. Robert Garcia said, I believe in you. You've never fought this heavy. You've never fought at 115, but you have the skills. And this guy, if you beat him, it's going to look very good on your record. Not only did he beat Cuadras, I think he clearly outboxed him, masterclassed him, and he even dropped him. Right? He stays put at 115, guys. From 108, he stays at 115 and takes on another one of the four kings at 115, Sor Rungvisai, the guy who beat Chocolatito twice and in one of those fights knocked him out. This guy goes over there and again completely outboxes, outclasses, and seriously hurt. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he stopped Sor Rungvisai. Now, who's remaining of the four kings? Well, Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada and Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Now, Bam Bam Rodriguez cannot ask for the Estrada fight at the moment. Why? Because Estrada and Gonzalez were going back and forth about the rematches. At that point, if I'm not mistaken, the second fight out of a total of three. So Bam Bam Rodriguez, he had to decide, do I wait for these guys to beat each other up and then I get the shot and take 3 belts or maybe become undisputed? Or do I allow these guys to clear each other out, and because of the fondness and respect that I have for Chocolatito, I come back down? And he decided to come back down, right, to 112, where he ended up taking 2 tough fights between 2 tough Mexicans. Maybe just one fight that gave him all kinds of heck. All kinds of heck. Now, obviously, he stays at 112, becomes unified champion just as of last night. But guess what? A lot of people have accused Bam Bam Rodriguez of doing, guys. Can you believe he's been accused of ducking? Can you guys guess who he may have ducked? Why he may have moved from 108 to 112 to 115 and back down to 112? Can you guys name one fighter at the 112 weight class that just barely moved up to 115 and became a champion? Can you guys give me a name? Oh, wow. Good question. Junto Nakatani.
Oh, yeah. Junto Nakatani would beat the fuck out of Bam Bam Rodriguez, bro.
Really?
That dude's good, bro. Hell yeah.
Nakatani? What weight
Junto
class?
Nakatani. That's the guy that slept the Maloney brothers, bro. When we
Oh
we
yeah.
went to Ruben Villa, bro.
Huh?
Yeah, that was him, bro. Junto
Yeah, I
Nakatani,
remember
bro.
him. Yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah, he would. Honestly, he's just too
He's
big.
hella
Weight
big
class.
too. He's like fucking 5'8".
No, he's like a 122 pounder, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're wrong, Warp Speed. I think you're wrong, bro.
Nope.
Yeah, he's like a 122, 126
Nope.
pounder.
Nope. He just went up to 115 guys and beat the Maloney brother, the youngest, the oldest one of the
We
Maloney
might be
brothers.
talking about someone else.
Look, at 112, we got Julio Cesar Martinez, the guy who should have fought over the weekend, but because of visa issues, he wasn't allowed to. We have Artem Dalakian. This is the kind of fighters that Bam Rodriguez can unify with. He already has 2 belts. It is the WBA and Julio Cesar Martinez
Wait,
for
hold on.
become undisputed.
Hold on. Let me show the people who Junto Nakatani is.
Yeah.
I don't think they know. Bro. This is like the next Paul Williams or Sergio Maravilla, but for the little guys. Watch this. Hold on. Let me put the volume up real quick.
That was devastating. He is laid out in brutal fashion.
What's the other brother's
That's the
name?
guy. That's the guy that you're saying.
What's
That's
the
the
other
guy
brother's
that you're
name?
saying that Bam Bam Rodriguez ducked.
Yeah, I know. That's somebody else, bro. I mean,
I don't blame him though. If this is
Yeah.
true, I don't know if it's true, but I mean, bro, Junto Nakatani is fucking really good, bro.
what brother
Jason
was
and
that?
Andrew. Jason and Andrew Maloney are the twin brothers.
Yep.
Oh
Now-
yeah, dude. He's way too big. He's way too big.
No. He has fought at 112, and he just most recently went up to 115. Now, I'm not too sure what you guys say by too big. I'm not too sure if you guys think that because of the physique of Junto Nakatani that he is a heavier fighter. In fact, I'm trying to wait up, guys. Wait. Oh goodness,
Oh,
I'm
he
trying to
said,
find it.
Wait.
Hmm.
It looks like you're wrong. Next subject. Just kidding.
No, wait.
Find it.
Wait.
Wait.
I may be wrong. I think I'm not a racist, guys. I think I just confused him with Kazuko Ayoka. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
goodness.
Oh man, that's a nice cleanup.
Wow. Bro,
That's a
Bam is not ducking Kazuko Ayoka.
Yeah, that's a nice cleanup, Germ. I mean, fuck, my bad. Speed.
That's not happening, bro. But Ayoka is good. But I think he's like a little like north of or of the 30s.
Nope. I'm absolutely right. He beat Andrew Maloney weighing 114 and a half pounds. There you go. I knew it. I do my research, and I may have done a lot of drugs in my youth, and I continued on until my mid 30s, but I'm still sharp enough to know my names and my fighters. No, he is still. No. So there you go, guys. I'm not selling you wolf tickets. He is, in fact, a fighter that just most recently fought at 100, and right after that, he beat RG Cortez at 114 and 3/4 pound is what he weighed in. He defended his WBO World Superfly, and then he went on. He's about to do it, in fact, in February. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Every time Junto Nakatani has gone up, Bam Rodriguez has gone down.
He is a 115 pounder.
Yeah. Every time Junto Nakatani was at 112, Guess what? Coincidentally enough, opportunities presented themselves for Bam Bam Rodriguez to go up. Hey, I don't blame him. The fights that he took at 115 were very tough, well rewarded fights with names that'll make your record look so good, you will immediately be placed in pound for pound list. That's what he did when he beat Sorumba and Quadras. But then, when Junto Nakatani goes up to 115, again, the opportunities present themselves to
This is a
go
top
back
ranked fighter
down.
though.
Who?
He's a
It
top ranked
doesn't matter
fighter.
though, homie Ricky. I mean,
Hold on,
Drew.
hold on, hold on. All right, bro. I'm a little tired
I'm
of
just
talking.
trying. I'm just trying to say, what do you guys think about that?
Look, bro.
A, do you think he is actually ducking or is it all coincidental? And B, who do you guys have for the win at 115? Because nobody's mentioning Junto Nakatani. They're talking
Because
about
it's
35 and 40-year-old fighters in Estrada and the Chocolatito.
Ain't
I
nobody
don't know.
beating Junto Nakatani, bro.
Yeah.
Junto, he's super good, bro. He's got good footwork. He's got extremely long arms. He's got power, speed, intelligence. He would probably be the only guy that are in around that weight class if Naoya Inoue had stayed at 118 when he was knocking out Donaire and the Paul Butler guy. Junto Nakatani would probably be the only guy that would give Naoya Inoue a good run for his money, and that's about it. Look,
And they
man,
probably spar, bro, because
Drew
both
wanted to talk about Rayo Valenzuela. Just so I can preface this, Rayo Valenzuela left the Arizona camp and he left the David Benavidez' camp, right? And on his first fight, after leaving him or leaving that stable of Jose and David and Diego Pacheco, he ends up knocking out in incredible fashion with a long gazelle uppercut punch and put Stephen Colbert
Jose
down.
was there. Jose was on his corner.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he was. I was watching it. I seen Jose Benavidez Senior. You know how they do the helicopter spin with the towel to make air. He was doing that for Rayo, and then Ronnie Shields was actually talking to him, but Jose Senior was there right next to him too. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I think the reason for that, Drew, is because if I'm not mistaken, the elder Benavides, he's his manager, or his
Yeah, yeah,
consigliere. So that's the reason why he's always going to be there.
got
Like
it.
they may not be training, but he's still managing his career.
Yeah, he wasn't his cut man either. He was just there with Ronnie Shields, like doing, just giving them air. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's why I was
Ah,
like, I
okay,
mean,
okay.
yeah. So I
But
don't
he
know.
still he
Maybe
still kept he still kept the family still intact. Like they're still
yeah.
in good
So let me
standing. So
ask you. I was gonna ask you a question about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is Ronnie Shields technically supposed to talk to Rayo through like through contract, or can Jose talk to him too?
You said through contact or contract?
Contract, like how they sign contract, all right, like because I'm pretty sure Ronnie Shields has to sign a contract on how much he's getting paid too, right? Or maybe I just
Yeah,
confused you.
I mean, like a cutman gets a cutman gets a cut of the
Yeah,
check, but let's say a trainer is the standard fee is usually 10%. The cutman probably gets like I don't know 2%. You don't get a lot.
yeah.
Um,
But I was asking you, technically, it was Jose able to speak to Rayo in the corner?
I mean, he can if he sees something,
Okay, okay.
like no one says that you can't, but normally, if there's a head trainer, the cut man's got to know his place. Maybe the cut man, if he's the cut man and like the water guy and the towel guy and all that stuff, he's got a duty of basically saying, "Hey, bro, you can't take up too much punches because this cut right here is gonna be, leaking through the top of your eye." As it's right above your eye, this cut. So that's as far, but you shouldn't be a cut man should not be speaking strategy and
Okay, yeah.
making convoluted, messages and like overlapping and overstepping. So no, that's not a cut man's job or place. Adam Hurley says, yeah, Carvajal is big here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I went to high school with his brothers, which is why I only watch him in terms of he doesn't really pay attention to the lower weights. Adam Hurley also replies with Jose Rayo Valenzuela should fight Pitbull Cruz next. or Edwin de los Santos. A rematch with Edwin de los Santos. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I think Edwin de los Santos is that guy, bro. I had him
Yeah.
beating Shakur Stevenson. I would see him knocking out Rayo again. I think Rayo is a little chinny, and not only is Rayo a little chinny, Rayo doesn't have the best IQ and the defense. And Edwin is pretty fucking good in every single aspect. Even though he put a big ass stinker with Shakur Stevenson, I still thought Edwin beat Shakur. He outbeat the boring boxer in Shakur, and Edwin did it better. Rayo Valenzuela versus Pitbull Cruz. Now that would be a very good fight. I actually wouldn't mind seeing that fight. But rumors are that Tank Davis is supposed to fight Pitbull Cruz on and opening up the telecast for Amazon Prime, which I hope it's not fucking true. But knowing the way, Skank Davis moves around in the boxing ring and how he goes about his professional manner, I'm pretty sure he's fighting Pitbull Cruz. I wouldn't mind seeing Rayo Valenzuela fighting the guy that Pitbull Cruz will fought on the undercard of Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. Giovanni, what's that kid's name? Giovanni,
Santillan?
no. Giovanni Santillan was the guy that beat Alexis Rocha.
You're talking about Freddie Roach's fighter.
Yeah, that's Freddie Roach's fighter. Nah. The kid, let me see. Pitbull Cruz fought was
That's Freddie Roach's fighter. The one that just fought Freddie Isaac Cruz. Giovanni.
Maybe Giovanni Cabrera.
Yeah, him.
That's a Freddie Roach fighter.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Giovanni Cabrera fight, Rayo Valenzuela. This is the same guy, Giovanni Cabrera, that knocked down Gabriel Flores, up north like 4 or 5 times in the first couple of rounds, even though they still went the distance. I wouldn't mind seeing Rayo fight him. Rayo going up with De Los Santos right now. I know he wants that get back, but I don't know about that one, man. I think Rayo, I don't think he's really called out Edwin de los Santos, and he knows because Edwin is fast and he's fucking strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know, but I wouldn't mind Giovanni Cabrera versus Rayo Valenzuela. That would be pretty good. Warp Speed goes, wow, great fight right there for Valenzuela, Mr. Hurley, but he called out G. Davis, Gervonta Davis. Whatever your thoughts are on that idea. What are your thoughts on that idea?
Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that idea? Because here's the thing, I think Mr. Adam Hurley, he's playing a great matchmaker, right? I think Jose Valenzuela fighting Pitbull Cruz is a very good, exciting fight, very fan-friendly fight. Even Edwin de los Santos against Rayo Valenzuela, but when he was asked after the fight, what's next, right? Because obviously the black Mexican, Chris Colbert, and if you guys don't know why, yeah, I call him the black Mexican. His mother,
because he's Mexican.
No. His mother, and he was raised by a black. He was raised by a black mother and a Mexican father. The father was his stepfather. Obviously, because of the skin, you can tell that logically. But he learned so much under a Mexican father in the state of New York. And you understand this would have been a long time ago. There was not that many Mexicans in New York that he ended up loving the culture of the Mexican. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, he speaks Spanish. And that's why he walks out with the what are those rebosos or whatever you call them, that with the Mexican flag. But nonetheless, when he was asked who he wanted to fight, Colbert stepped up and he said, "Bro, let's rematch it again. Let's run it again. I beat you once. You beat me once." That's something to be questioned.
He wants a trilogy. He wants.
Yeah, Colbert does.
Yeah.
But we both know that this weekend's fight, this rematch, wasn't necessary because a lot of people had Rayo Valenzuela as the clear winner in the very first one. And now, after being knocked out, there really shouldn't be a question. This is very much reminiscent of what happened between Wilder and Fury. We ended up getting a trilogy that wasn't necessary. Why? Because somehow they ended up calling the very first fight a draw. They called it wrong, but they said it was a draw. Okay, whatever, that's fine enough. But he said, look, he wants a trilogy. I think I'm ready for Gervonta Tank Davis. What do you guys think about that?
Look, the reason why Colbert and Rayo shouldn't have a trilogy is because, like you said, it ended in a knockout. Whereas Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua, that makes sense for a trilogy because Andy knocked his ass out and Anthony Joshua outboxed him.
And there's a lot of
It
history
doesn't mean that
behind
you're
it.
the better fighter. That just means you just came well prepared and you just used, your height, your arm length, and your reach.
But that's the fight that made the first Mexican heavyweight ever. You know,
Right.
so there's a lot of history behind it too.
Not just that, like it deserves for a rematch because if you were to tell me who's the better fighter, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna say a dedicated Andy's the better fighter. But a fucking Andy that's partying with Baby Bash and Frankie
Yeah,
J and getting ass tattoos, then I'm gonna be like, well, yeah, I'm gonna fucking give it to Anthony Joshua. But if I get fucking starving Andy, the one that's clamoring for a sneakers deal, yeah, I'm gonna fucking bet on Andy. Look, man. Um, as for Rayo Valenzuela wanting Tank Davis, bro, Tank Davis will test that chin. And Rayo doesn't have great defense. That boy gets caught.
dude, he's gonna get caught
Rayo
so
will get
easily.
fucking knocked out, bro.
Easy fight for Tank.
That same
Easy
punch,
money,
absolutely. That same punch that Tank Davis landed on Ryan Garcia in the second
bro.
round. Guess what? Rayo Valenzuela ain't fucking standing up from that. He ain't
Bro,
getting up from that. He's just gonna lay there in a broken jaw like Victor Ortiz
easy payday.
did in
Easy
two, bro.
payday. I
Like
know. Easy
that's no disrespect to Rayo, but that boy is a prospect. I don't even think Rayo could beat a Luke Campbell.
for real. Yeah, no, he's too chinny, man. His chin's out there. He just
No
what
disrespect to Rayo, bro, but he sucks.
his IQ not all there, man. For a guy that come up from the lower weight and outbox him says a lot, man. I mean, he needed to knock him out, and he almost did in the first. I mean, the first round he needed to go all out, and it shit like that doesn't take a lot of IQ. He literally just went balls out and tried to knock dude out, and he couldn't even do it. I mean, he knocked him down in the first round, but I mean, damn, bro, like you can't just place your punches a certain way to punish the dude instead of just like smothering him with a bunch of bullshit, like it's not working. So I mean that's why he loaded up finally and he finally caught him with that right hook. But I mean 5 rounds later he allowed Colbert to last 5 more rounds after all that energy he was giving Colbert, and so that right there when he just came out, but like came out and just started smothering Colbert, that just showed a lot of that showed a like showed that he had like low IQ, like in the ring, because he
Yeah,
didn't have a game plan. Like he came out with that game plan, like, dude,
yeah,
like you were capable of knocking him out like you did in the sixth, but you don't know how to set it up is the problem. you know he didn't know how to set that up, and he literally just, I don't want to call it lucky because he was catching him, but I mean, he's also lucky he had a Colbert, a frustrated Colbert in this corner, yelling back at his at his coaches. I mean, Colbert wasn't focused, so I mean, and he wasn't listening to his coaches. I mean,
What
you
was he
get thrown
yelling at
that
him for?
because he wasn't doing what they were telling him to do. He was telling him
yeah.
like,
It was very that was very
yeah, he
hard
was
to
telling them.
watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'll show you the video, but um, he was pretty much telling his coach like, relax,
Yeah,
relax,
yeah,
yelling back, bro. And I was
yeah.
like, dude, I'm not sure what round that was, but I mean, m- like
I think it. Yeah,
coaches love that highlight because like they will say, this is why you listen to your coaches, and then it was honestly it wasn't scripted, but it was like perfectly set up for a coach to show his fighter like, this is why you fucking listen, bro. This is why you listen to me.
yeah,
And he paid for it, man. Like he paid for it, dude. And um yeah, for Ryo, he's lucky dude was coming up from a different weight. I mean, he was getting out boxed, but I mean, um what's it called? He's lucky he was frustrated. He was lucky he wasn't focused. An opponent who was focused would have like Colbert would have outboxed him. You know, with the
Listen,
game plan, he would have outboxed him. But someone and Colbert's coming from a lower weight class. Imagine someone who can box like Colbert at a big like at Ryo's size or bigger. So that's my take, dude. It
I'm
was
not
funny. It
gonna
was
lie to
cool,
you, bro.
entertaining.
If Devin Haney fought Rayo Valenzuela, Devin Haney would knock out Rayo. That's how much little I think
Yeah.
of Rayo. No
With one
disrespect
punch.
to him beating Colbert, but Colbert is nobody. Like, no disrespect to him, but Colbert is not that good. This is the same dude that wear leggings and he looked like those Dalmatian cookies.
What?
The cookies that
What?
all flamboyant against Hector Luis Garcia, and we just saw Hector Luis Garcia, fight. He used to be with Golden Boy, and he just lost his title.
Yeah, I know. Colbert.
What's a Dalmatian cookie?
Yeah,
You know
Colbert.
those mother's cookies that are like colorful? They're like white and they got a lot of polka dots on them.
Yeah, the
Animal
confetti shit.
cookies.
The animal, the
Confetti.
animal mother cookies, bro. That
Okay.
was Stephen Colbert's. Wait, is his name is it Stephen Colbert or Chris Colbert?
Come on, it's Chris Colbert.
Okay, because
It's
Stephen
Chris
Colbert is
Colbert.
a fucking guy from
Yeah, he's a
Tonight Show.
comedian.
I'm like, what the fuck is
The
going
late night show. Come on,
Yeah.
man. Stephen Colbert, man.
place? Look, Chris Colbert, no disrespect to him, man. He's got some good athletic skill, but that's about it. He ain't no pound for pound fighter that can fluctuate his weight from
Bro.
130 and 135 and come back down. He's not that good. And as for
Did
Rayo,
you know-
look, man, I know he got beat by Edwin de los Santos, and I'm gonna just say that's a legit win because Edwin de los Santos is really good, right? And maybe not every 135 pounder can pack that punch. So maybe I should not just say that, Rayo is not that good. Maybe he is really that good. It's just maybe Edwin is just that much better. But the fact that it took 2 fights, and after you knocked him down in the first round, you couldn't put him back down. And even though I still had you winning the first fight, you know what I'm saying? He was losing some rounds to Chris Colbert. And
He lost the first fight. Colbert won the first fight due
he
to
didn't win that
Rayo's.
fight. Like, I know they gave it to him on paper, but he didn't win that fight. But
They gave it to him due to Rayo's fucking low IQ.
But that's exactly, and that's the problem.
Mhm.
Rayo, even for the judges to give a fighter who you knocked down in the first round and hurt multiple times, why couldn't you get rid of him? Why couldn't you sleep him like you slept him in this fight? It lets me know that you don't know how to set up traps properly. It lets me know that you aren't as witty or as intelligent that you need to be to become a champion. Bro, no disrespect. And I'm not going to put Tank on the pedestal, but Tank is way light years above Rayo Valenzuela.
Oh,
He needs to fight Giovanni Cabreras of the world, the Gabe Flores Juniors of the world,
Rick,
and Emiliano Vargas, and guys like those. They might still knock you out, except Gabe Flores.
Rick, I'm
But
putting you on blast.
Abdullah Mason
kidding.
bodies Rayo Valenzuela, bro.
Blast.
Bro, I don't even think highly of Rayo, bro. Like, no disrespect to him. He's a good-looking kid. He's a cool guy, but nah, bro. That boy's trash.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna put you on blast once you said that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, man, it was a good fight.
Do it.
I let it all
Do
out.
it.
Who's the worst of the Benavidez' group, bro? I would put David Benavidez, Diego Pacheco, Jose, and then Rayo last on the totem pole, bro. Like, he's not that good, bro. Like, no disrespect. He's not
that good. You think Mo can beat him?
No, Mo's like 124 pounds.
Exactly.
No, Rayo's still big, bro. Like, he's still big. Like, you would rehydrate back to 147, 151
But-
pounds.
Mo's a strong motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for his respect.
I know, I'm just kidding. He is strong though, but damn, 125, fuck. Rayo,
Hey, have you been going to the gym and he still goes to the gym or what?
I'm gonna go tomorrow. I haven't gone like in 2-3 weeks.
Okay, yeah, I haven't. I went to his shop the other day, bought some hats off of him, but I don't know if he was anyway. Look, man, I think we talked about boxing for a little bit.
Wait, guys, I've been thinking of putting Mo
What did you think
under
of
snack
Claressa Shields
products.
versus Sedacia Green, or sorry, Frank Sean Cruz versus Sedacia Green. Speed.
Wow. Okay. First off, ladies and gentlemen, uh, thank you for bringing that up, homie. The homie Ricky and Drew. If you don't know who Miss Franchon Cruz Discern is, if Mr. Adam Hurley, Double G, uh, Miss Bitch, and whoever out there visited us today, if you guys do not know who Miss Franchon Cruz Discern is, Miss Franchon Cruz Discern is a fighter that made me love with the female side of the sport.
She ain't no
About
Alicia Bumgarner.
no, she ain't no Elisa Bumgarner. Now, if you guys are into technical, beautiful boxing by beautiful women
Hey, I
like
didn't
Miss
say
Alicia,
that. I didn't say that.
whoa, then what are you trying
Whoa,
to say, Drew? What are you trying to
whoa.
say, Drew?
That
What
she's
are you trying to
beautiful.
say?
No, I'm just kidding. Go
Okay,
ahead.
well, without a doubt, ladies and gentlemen, we know that Miss Alicia Bumgarner is a very beautiful fighter and a beautiful dame, by the way. But Miss Franchon Cruz Discern is not only a beautiful lady, she is a very aggressive, come forward fighter that may not be as technical, and she may be slightly clumsy, but nonetheless, she's a hard cookie for any woman that decides to step into the ring with her. And about 4 years ago, in early 2019, if I'm not mistaken, she ended up fighting a Mexican fighter. Her name was Alejandra Jimenez, who, again, I may have mentioned this before. She was either a man transitioning into a woman through hormones or vice versa. Anyways, that was a very entertaining fight because both of those ladies went balls to the wall. Pardon the pun, because I know ladies don't have balls, sorry, testicles, but nonetheless, they gave it all. And one of the most entertaining female fights that I'd ever seen. In fact, Mr. Cruz Discern, she had a mishap very similar to what the homie Ricky was having in one of his amateur fights, namely that she had headgear on, in this case her wig, that was falling off, and it was making it hard for her to focus on the fight because it was just moving all about in her head. And then Miss Alejandra Jimenez was capitalizing on that distraction. Now, in one of the most incredible and controversial moments in female boxing, her trainer, which, if I'm not mistaken, is also her husband, or I may be maybe mistaken, he gets her weave. He screams at her, "F the wig!" And he gets it and he pries it off of her head and he throws it. And Miss Cruz Discern, like most women, beautiful, self conscientious, they still care about their appearance. She had to fight without the wig, and she put up a hell of a performance. And what she ended up losing, because later on they ended up testing the Mexican, and then they found either female estrogen or male hormones, testosterone. Because again, she was either transitioning or some kind of controversy, or maybe it was just standard pets or whatnot. Nonetheless, this past Friday, under the fight that Mr. Hurley mentions with Lorenzo Medina, she fights for a belt and she beats the fighter that people thought was gonna outclass her, outbox her, technically time her to death, and just maybe even knock her out. A 12-1 favorite for Miss Shadesha Green becomes a clear, convincing, pressure fought fight in favor of Miss Cruz
No,
Discern,
I'm good, mom.
the fighter
Yeah,
that
it's
everybody thought was going to masterclass, the
stop
clumsy
sleeping.
fighter,
Okay.
and Miss
Okay.
Cruz Discern could not figure out how to throw a punch when it mattered. And it was just a very aggressive fight that just had to have teach Miss Shadesha Green. When you want to fight an aggressive fighter, you have to take a step back and you have to punch. But when the other person is just coming forward and she's very tough and strong and she's just throwing everything at you and not to the body, sometimes the pressure gets to you from the pressure fighter and you just become paralyzed. I am happy to say that one of my favorite fighters, Miss Franchon Cruz Discern, upset the favorite fighter and become a belt holder at 160 as of Friday. Incredible, incredible. Happy for the lady, beautiful lady. My mother and I, we fell in love with this sport. We've seen female boxing a long time, but we just watched it and brushed it off. Miss Franchon Cruz Discern made me fall in love with the sport.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was watching the. Actually, I wasn't watching. I was watching the highlights on the French on Cruise. I was watching this live fight chat, and there was pretty much saying, um, Deja Green. This wasn't like her best outing either. She had fought this chick named Olivia Curry, and she was just kind of out the blue. She didn't. She was never. I was watching an interview by her on the Boxing Voice, and she's never fought on that big of a stage, and she still gave Shadeja Green a hard time. So I don't know, man. The guy from TBV, Nestor Gibbs, he talks highly of her. But I think she let him down really bad, like this weekend, because he was one of very few people that was like shouting for her and stuff like that. So yeah, I was hearing good things, and I actually seen her punch the bag. She looks swift, man. She looks like she has good defense. She looks like a dog, bro. But it's just different when she's in there with a talent like Frenchion Cruz. Frenchion Cruz is like a oh, she's been around, man. She's fought. I know she's fought pretty much all the elite fighters.
Yeah.
Savannah Marshall, uh, Claressa Shields, right? She fought her already, right?
Well, I'm uncertain, but
Oh, okay.
I do know that she only has around 10 fights. These
Okay, yeah,
are,
no, Frenchion Cruz was
yeah.
putting it on her though. She was just too she was just putting she's going forward the whole time, bro. She was too much for Shadeja Green, bro. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think I did put money on her, but not as much. I put like $5 on her.
Look, on a
So
personal
that's
note, you know what it reminded me of? Okay, when I was much younger, I must have been about 14, 15 years of age. I was a punk rocker. I used to play the drums for a punk rock, short-lived punk rock band called Mrs. Krabappel. If you guys don't know who Mrs. Krabappel is, she's the elementary school teacher that teaches Bart Simpson on The Simpsons, right? And because we were into punk rock, my one of my siblings and one of my friends that used to play in this punk rock band, um, we would go to what they call tocadas, which is just basically punk rock shows. And there was mosh pits. If you guys know what mosh pits is, it's basically like a violent dance where everybody kicks and spins and twirls and just lets their appendages fly everywhere in hopes that you hit somebody very hard, knock him out without getting yourself knocked out. Right? It's a dance of abandon and youthfulness. Now, I ended up pissing off some little guy. I'm talking about this guy must have not even reached my chin. But this guy was a master mosh pitter. Like this guy knew what to do. And because his body was shorter than mine, obviously he was more grounded. Whenever I would try to come back at him, it became more like a wrestling match. Like he would just like push me or judo or whatever you want to call it. And we were like trying mosh pit, go boom, 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 boom. And then this guy would just get me and I would be flying everywhere. In fact, he did that so many times I couldn't get myself up because then he was tackling me over and I had to become a wallflower. I wasn't able to mosh pit against that guy and his crew, right? This is the way that I feel Miss Shadesha Green felt when Miss Franchon Cruz Discern was coming at her. What do I do against this fighter who's relentless with her output and in her aggression? And just like me, she became a wallflower. She stood there and just let everything happen to her. Respect to Miss Shadesha Green for being able to withstand the onslaught that Miss Franchon Cruz Discern was bringing her, similarly to how Sonny Edwards withstood the onslaught and physical devastation that he received at the hands of Jesse Bam Rodriguez. This is all I was trying to say, guys, in this live. when I was trying to give praise for Sonny Edwards' grit and determination to take punishment, all for our entertainment, fighting a fighting style that he's never fought in before, he did the right thing because he was in hostile territory with a lot of people naysaying about him. With the type of history the southern states have had in judging fights, which is they love the come forward aggressive fighter. He knew that, and he knew that he could not be a backwards fighting counter puncher. He had to stand his ground. He paid for it, but we enjoyed a very violent affair, all because one, Sonny Edwards decided to go mano a mano against a very tough pound for pound fighter and Bam Bam Rodriguez. Bam Bam Rodriguez, yes, he used his physical advantages, his reach, his speed, his power, his footwork to cut off the ring whenever Sonny Edwards needed a move, which was not very often because he stood there and fought toe to toe. But that's all I'm trying to say, guys. When you guys call me a cuck and you guys say that I'm bending the knee for blacks or for whites, no, that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to praise the men and the women that do this for us in our entertainment while we sit on our well worn couches that are contoured to our behinds. We can speak facts about who is great in the sport of boxing, and we can also give respect to the losers when they entertain us. We just don't have to kiss ass solely because a person is of our race or our color or because they win. We can just keep it unbiased and honest, and that's what I was trying to do. Miss Franchon Cruz Discern, great fighter. Miss Daisha Green, she stood her ground and she paid for it. Sonny Edwards stood his ground, paid for it. Bam Bam Rodriguez, great fighter, and I cannot wait to see what happens next.
Look,
Drew
like,
and the homie Ricky, I do want to ask you guys one thing.
hold on.
Showtime,
like Gigi said, and what was the other guy's name? Gigi and the Mexican G said, nah, Sonny Edwards is a horrible fighter. So if that's a horrible fighter, then I'm not gonna say Bam Bam Rodriguez is a pound for pound fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, no disrespect to Sonny Edwards, he put on the best performance of his life, but this is just another case of trash talking gone bad. That's all it was. Sonny Edwards is no gold Olympian winner. He's not a two-time divisional champion. He's not a knockout artist. Bam Rodriguez just beat an ordinary fighter. Bam Rodriguez was coming off an injury and beat an ordinary fighter. He beat an ordinary human being. Does Sonny Edwards possess Mike Tyson's prowess? Does he possess Gennady Golovkin's power, intellect, and jab? What about Canelo's head movement? Does Sonny Edwards possess any of that? No, he doesn't. Bam, off a layoff, off an injury, fought a guy from the UK that had a little bit of good movement. Like Miss Bitch said, oh, he fights off the bitch foot, right? Or whatever the quote was. So how are we going to put Bam Rodriguez as a pound for pound fighter if he just beat an ordinary human? See, we talk about fair and bias and all these guys and ultra instinct and, oh, Bam Rodriguez is so amazing. But you just shit all over Sonny Edwards, who is nothing special. So if Bam Rodriguez beat somebody that wasn't special, why the fuck are we going to put him up there on the pound for pound list? Because you think he's someone special? You just told me that he just dug Junto Nakatani because there was opportunities that presented itself to fluctuate between weight and deviate top competition. Isn't what Tank Davis and Shakur and Devin Haney, don't they get lambasted their whole careers for doing so? But you know what? On a consistent basis, since Shakura and Devin Haney and all these guys don't deserve the pound for pound list, guess what? Neither does Bam Rodriguez. How about that?
Well, wait, homie Drew, homie Ricky, I did not mean to say that Junto Nakatani was making Bam Rodriguez duck. I'm just saying that some people allege that the movement, which is quite coincidental, would make it seem that Bam Bam Rodriguez has always moved away from any kind of confrontation against the Japanese champion, dangerous fighter. I don't think that's ducking because he actually is taking on fighters with men that are much more accomplished that will pat that I wouldn't even say pad the record that would better reflect his accomplishments and his skill set had he fought and beaten him. And guess what? He actually did. Now, as far as Sonny Edwards, look, a lot of people may have imagined this fight
Hold on.
more so to be similar to what Erislandi Lara would have done with Canelo Alvarez. Remember, that was a very close fight. Depending on what you like, if you like clean face shots, then you had Erislandi Lara. If you like body shots galore, then you have Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan beating that boy and making him on the back foot run around, which obviously makes it seem like the Mexican is bringing the pressure and therefore controlling the fight. But that's what a lot of people imagined. And that's why I read out the many types of pundits and fighters that had Sonny Edwards on unanimous or split decisions on account of his ability to be defensive and counter all night.
See that none of that is relevant to this conversation of right now because I'm trying to pinpoint and nitpick the contradictory statements that these people are saying. Look, GGG says, bro, listen, Sonny tried to back foot the bitch all night, but Bam was landing hellacious body and slowed him down. I usually don't agree with Ricky. He's a cuck, but he's right about Bam not allowing Sonny to do what he does. Speed, Sonny was a number one guy, but he fought a lot of styles and he scored Mexican style before getting his ass kicked by Bam. It's levels to this. So it's funny because in one end, if I scroll back up here, check this out. Where we at? Was it Mexican G or GGG?
Yeah.
Let me see. I think
Double G.
you idolize back foot bitches, crib so much. You guys enjoy the fighters. You guys think fighters who do it just have more skills and more slick. Bro, this guy needs to learn his punctuation because I'm spazzing out over here trying to maintain with his flow. Look, man. In one end, he wants to say that he's a bitch because he backpedals all night and X, Y, and Z does all this. The next ocean, he says, oh, he's a number one fighter at the number one division, but he ain't beat nobody and he's already beating the Mexican style before. So he ran into Bam. Look, bro, this is crazy, bro. Look, I've never seen Sonny Edwards fight. That was literally my first time probably tuning in to watching him fight because I know Bam, and I know Bam has beaten two fighters that I actually paid attention to before. Carlos Cuadras and Sorugvinsai. So at least I know Bam has those people under his, his resume. I don't know who Sonny Edwards had. I don't know who that guy Carlos Campos was. Never seen him fight before. Excuse me, I didn't mean to burp in between. But I'm not gonna sit here and shit on another man. It's like they shit on Demetrius Andrade, right? So if you shit on Demetrius Andrade when David Benavidez knocks him out, then it's not a great, credible win. If you're telling me that Andrade is horrible, then David Benavidez just beat a horrible fighter. Even Canelo said he was horrible. So how are you going to give him that much credit if he's horrible? I'm just using your guys' own words against you. If you're saying Sonny Edwards is number one, but he's a back foot bitch fighter, so then what are you saying? It doesn't make any sense. So this is why you guys can't shit on your favorite fighters and then put them up there on the list.
They just shoot themselves in the foot.
It doesn't compute. 1 + 1 is not adding up. What's going on, Drew?
They just shoot themselves in the foot.
I mean, it's one or the other. Just say this. Bam is superior. He's the better fighter. He beat an undefeated champion. And guess what? He deserves to be on the pound-for-pound list because it's more impressive because he's also coming off an injury. But if you shit upon your opponent and say he ain't shit, that he's trash, that he's garbage, that he ain't got no skill, then guess what? He just beat a trash, garbage, no skill fighter. So how you gonna put Bam on the pound-for-pound list because of that? You can't. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. Look, man, I recognize Bam Rodriguez's skill. All right, I know what I saw with Sonny Edwards. That was pretty good. If Sonny Edwards continues to fight like that, guess what? His stock is going to rise. He will be a champion again. But if he decides to back foot the bitch, guess what? People aren't going to tune in. It's just going to be one of those moments of trash talking gone bad that goes viral over 10 million views on YouTube. Okay,
Yeah, bro.
that's
No
all
one.
this segment is until right now. I want to
Yeah,
say
no
this.
one's.
I didn't watch
Go
the
ahead.
women's fight with Frank Sean Cruz and Shadaysha Green, but they were telling me Shadaysha Green was a big threat to Claressa Shields, and all of a sudden she couldn't beat Frank Sean Cruz.
Yeah.
Drew, you
Well,
said
she was
earlier
having.
about
Mhm.
Alicia Baumgartner and Claressa Shields. Who you got winning that fight, bro? Maybe you guys talked about it. I had to step aside for a bit.
Ah, man, it's I don't even know how to like obviously like Clarissa, like am I not educated enough? Like they're not the same size, right? That's what's
Yeah, absolutely
Nope.
not.
tripping me out. That's what's tripping me out about this conversation or the because it's been brought up in the boxing world. You know, I'm like kind of confused, man. I'm like they're like two different sizes, no? Like
Yeah, at
completely
least.
different size.
Yeah, because I think Alicia Baumgartner is undisputed after fighting Christina Linadartu at 135. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I think Claressa Shields fights at either 154 all the way to 168.
I think it's unhealthy for Clarissa Shield. I mean, they're talking not. I mean, yeah, it's unhealthy for Clarissa, but it's like, they're talking
Unhealthy
kind
in
of
what
like out
sense?
of their
What weight
pride.
does she want to fight?
They're kind of talking out of their pride. What was that?
No, but you say unhealthy for Clarissa. What do you mean? What does how many weight, what weight class do they have to fight? How many pounds does she have to shed?
They
What do you mean
said
unhealthy?
they because they said 140
Oh,
or like 140,
140.
147. Huh?
Oh, what the? That's crazy. I wouldn't. If I'm
Yeah,
Clarissa, I'm not fighting no drug cheat at
that's
140 pounds. What the fuck?
yeah, and then that's 100. That's unhealthy. I'm like, that's unhealthy. You can't do that. Like the doctors will tell her you can't hit that weight. Like it's unhealthy. And I think they said 147 as well, and that's still unhealthy. Clarissa hasn't even fought in under 150 since the first Olympics that she went to, and that was I don't know, like so
Yeah.
like I was like thinking this is like a rumor and they're gonna clear it up, and I haven't really been paying attention. I know like it's Alicia, like I know saying I know I'll knock or like I know I can beat her and all this, and it's cool, man. Like honestly, like that's not gonna stop me from wifing her up. But I'm just kidding. But
No, that's very strange. To be honest with you, I think
God.
that's very unrealistic fight. I think if I'm a three-time undisputed champion and Claressa Shields, um, why the fuck am I gonna go to an unhealthy weight that I've never fought since I was a young woman,
yeah, and
a teenager? And as for Alicia Baumgartner, shame
oh,
on
she
you.
about to look thick.
Steroids, shame on you, bro. She should be calling out Katie Taylor, and she should be calling out Amanda Serrano. What the fuck is she doing calling out a girl like 30 pounds bigger than her? Shame on her, bro. That's the roids talking, bro. The fact that she
Yeah,
goes on these tangents and she's like, man, I'll knock around and all this. Bro, chill, bro.
what's
Chill. Go fight
why
the other girls, bro. Go
right?
fight Michaela Mayer. Move up and fight them. Nah, bro. She's giving me weird vibes. I got the clean American, two-time gold medal, three-time undisputed. If they were able to fight,
But no, but
bro,
what
she's
about her?
beating
Her what
Alicia
about
Baumgartner to
what
pieces,
about
bro.
her? What about her and Serrano or Katie Taylor? They're closer to her size, right?
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. Bro, it's just the roids talking. The food's taken.
Don't be saying that, man. Don't be
Alicia
saying
will
that about
have
my
to
girl,
fight
man.
enough. Yeah, no, man. A lot of
It's
this
not the
stuff.
roids. It's me.
Yeah, no, that's basically what it is, bro. It's just roid rage. Like
Hey,
no
it's not the roids. It's me. No, I'm just kidding.
Bumgarner, she probably cleaned her system out. It's all flushed out, But the fact that she's calling out a girl probably 20 pounds heavier when she can probably, cut down to, if I'm not mistaken, Amanda Serrano has fought at 130 or 135 pounds before, right, Speed? Like she's been a champion at those weight classes.
I think so. Yeah.
Who is that, homie Ricky?
Amanda Serrano, she's fought as high up to 135, correct?
I believe so. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think that's where she fought Katie Taylor.
So what weight class does Alicia Baumgartner campaign at?
I think 130.
It seems to be in between. Why can't they fight one another? Why is she calling out a
Well,
woman that
so
fights
so
50 pounds?
theoretically, guys, that would mean that Miss Alicia Baumgartner would have to go up in weight, three divisions to fight at 147, and the other girl would have to come down two or three. So that's basically the whole deal right there. For that fight to take place.
At what weight class again?
Well, Miss Alicia Baumgartner, she proposed she fight Claressa Shields at 147.
Who's the eight side on this end though?
Well,
This is nonsense, bro. This is nonsense.
Yeah, I
I
know. But
guess
I'm
it would
talking
have to
about this.
be. I
I'm
think it
talking
would
about
have
this.
to be Miss Alicia Baumgartner because she has Eddie Hearn on the corner. And not only that, I think Miss Alicia Baumgartner has been in bigger, more profitable fights
To
than
be fair though,
Claressa Shields.
but to be fair, this is like a waste of breath. Like I feel like it is. Like I'm looking at their sizes and I'm like, no, don't do this to boxing, man. They're two different. They're two different paths. You know, like they're just don't do that to their record. I mean, I know actually Alicia's record's already blemished, but like, uh, like, nah, stop it. You know, cause yeah, they're just money. I think there's money grab, bro. Like honestly, they're either like that's the thing. If it's money grab, then they're acting desperate, and to be desperate, it's unnecessary when you have people your size who are also generational talent. You know, like yeah, man. There's just too many chicks out there, man. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, um, Yoshida, that chick that beat wait, no, I was gonna say that chick that beat Ebony Bridges, um, that Yoshida chick, but she lost her previous two fights prior to that, so I don't think should be a good matchup. But at the same time, any like these women fights, man, they're just so unpredictable, man. You know,
Well,
Chantel Cameron.
the other thing,
It's the
Drew
same
and the homie
bullshit.
Ricky. The only reason why those type of fights get spoken about by these ladies, this is one of the realities of the female side of the sport, which is that they're not very deep divisions with a lot of fighters, right? You don't have hundreds of female fighters climbing up the ranks or thousands like they do in men, right? Women are barely getting the recognition, and women are barely involving themselves in the sport more so nowadays because of television opportunities and money making opportunities also, but because there aren't that many fighters out there, these women are willing to do everything, including fighting bigger and heavier weight classes like Miss Amanda Serrano has done in her 6 or 7 attainment of belts, because they want to make fights happen. I mean, if
Bro,
men
let me
if
ask
men
you.
had fights, problems making fights, we would be hailing these fighters moving up in weight classes that much to make the best fights happen. But
Let me
guess
ask
what?
you a
We
question, sir.
don't.
This picture that I'm showing you right here that I decided to focus on between Alicia Baumgartner and Michaela Mayer. These are professional athletes. These are Olympian fighters, amateur backgrounds. I don't believe that Alicia Baumgartner works harder than Michaela Mayer or Alicia Baumgartner works harder than Claressa Shields. But if you were just to line them up and show them like in a lineup card, which one would look like they would be on some type of performance enhancing drugs?
Man, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this
No,
to my
no,
girl
no, no.
Alicia.
Honestly, Michaela Mayer has chef, professional athletes, probably on Snack and all these programs as well, have the same access and resources that Alicia Baumgartner has. But look at their body composition.
I'm gonna text her right now. I'm telling her right now.
No, no, no. Watch. Let me see. Claressa, not her boxer, but let's put up Claressa. She's a two-time gold medalist, three-time undisputed. Okay, I don't know if this picture is real.
Clarissa is the one that looks like she's on PEDs, bro.
No, not at all.
Yes.
Look at this. Look at her
No.
composition. She just looks lean. That's just lean. Look at Bumgarner, bro. Look at her shoulders and define.
She looks lean.
And the definition.
She looks lean as well.
No, she does not look lean, bro. That is not that's not lean, bro.
Claressa got them veins, bro, going down her deltoid, bro. That's a different type of. Claressa got a different type of strength.
Cape, Drew, bro. She looks like she would be on some type of performance enhancing drugs.
Where the veins at? She don't look hydrovascular.
Bro, look at the vein on her forehead right here in this picture right here. Hold on.
What? That's blood.
Hold on. Hey, hopefully my computer focuses in and stuff like that.
Nah,
Look,
man.
She's on the juice, bro.
She's close to her grandma, bro. She does sana colita de rana.
Bro, she's on the juice.
Nah, bro. Her grandma rubs the egg on her forehead. That's why.
Adam says, I think Serrano and Bumgarner could fight. I agree. That would be a more realistic
Yeah, I like that.
fight. I thought Ricky was going to ask which one was hotter.
Oh.
Look, man. As interesting
that's a hard question, guys. That really is a hard question. And I'm just gonna address that. Miss Claressa Shields or Miss Claressa Shields or Alicia Bumgarner. Just honestly, yep, I will say Miss Bumgarner is a more attractive individual than Miss Claressa Shields. But I think one of the reasons why Claressa Shields is less attractive as a result, guys, I know this is gonna sound stupid because I should be a guy that I should not be able to think this way, is because she has a horrible demeanor. She has a horrible character. Miss Claressa Shields has a very bad attitude. In fact, Miss Claressa Shields, as incredibly talented as she is, she makes people dislike her solely because of how she conducts herself. From a 10 in the sexist scale of judging women, easily because of what she says and how she moves, she drops down to a 5 in my eyes.
Wait, you saying Claressa Shields is a 10?
I'm not saying she's a 10, but if she was a 10, because I don't find her unattractive at all. I think she is attractive.
I hope you're alone right now.
Absolutely. My wife would be killing me. And then, but what I'm saying is still, I would still be speaking facts. I do find her to be attractive. But it's her attitude that makes her so unattractive.
The same woman that Sonny Edwards, had he beaten Bam Rodriguez and would have asked out on a date, Claressa Shields. We're talking about the same Claressa Shields, right? The one that Sonny Edwards is attracted to?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. What, you guys think Miss Claressa Shields is not attractive?
Sonny Edwards is way too small. Sonny Edwards is way too small, bro, for Claressa.
Bro, that didn't stop him.
Yeah.
Bro, I can pull up this interview, man.
Hey, bro, Drew, and love, there is no weight classes. There is no weight divisions, brother.
We're talking about boxing still, though, but it's love. That's crazy.
Hey, maybe, you never know. Maybe Sonny Edwards likes to be weight bullied. Oh, man. I love that guy. Look, a small little white guy against a big old tall black girl. That's incredible.
Wait, I like her with heels on too. Hey, she don't look that bad right there. It's just that her chest, bro. Her chest looks.
At 168.
Hold on, guys.
And then she said, "You don't sell and Puerto Ricans."
It's not about this fire. Secondly, what do you make of this? What do you make of the weights and everything? I know you had something to say about that yesterday.
Weight classes matter. The fact that you're jumping up from 154 to 168 against one of the best fighters in the world is like kind of scary to me. That's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be a great fight out.
On social media, as trying here. What does he need to do to be the man for you? I know you just got. I think you're going through a breakup or something's going on in your life right now. So there might be a boy too free for you. So talk to me. What does Sunny Edwards do today?
I am kind of single. The deal was that if Sonny beats Bam Bam, then I'll go on a date with him. And if that's what his motivation wants to be, keep that as motivation, and I'll be a woman of my word and let him take me out to Nando's or something. But
Damn.
whatever, I think it's funny, but who doesn't like a beautiful black woman?
It's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much, and I'm safe flight home. Thank you.
Crazy. So they
I'm
went
not
on a
gonna lie
date.
to you.
Adam Hurley. Her muscles are bigger than Apollo Creed's. Hilarious.
If Claressa just kept her personality like that,
Yeah.
like people would be like, man, she's hella cool. Like that's a cool chick. But yeah, bro, she's on like some weird type of energy, bro. Like where she's just kind of like, I don't know, on her own type of.
Wait, do you guys want to go there? Do you guys
Where?
really want to go there
bro,
about what Claressa Shields has been saying?
I'm not. Nah. Hold on. Let me
Okay.
read these comments. Adam Hurley says, I think so too, Drew. The Mexican G comes back and he says, Claressa was preying on Bam's downfall. She always hates on the Mexicans. Warp Speed replies to, what has she said about Mexicans? Maybe she wanted Sonny to win, to go on that date, as he promised. Mr. Adam Hurley says he tried. Well, I don't really be on social media a lot, but I do know that Claressa Shields, I want to say that she hates on Mexicans just because she sides with quote unquote her people, like how we side with our people, right? Like if we're talking about Demetrius Andrade, she always goes against Canelo Alvarez, okay? Similar to like Andre Ward, right? Now, does Andre Ward hate on Mexicans? Nah, man, he fucking trains Mario Barrios, right? Same thing with Claressa Shields. I don't think that she hates Mexicans, She's just probably the fighters that, I mean, why would she go for Bam if she's just having fun and like talking with Sonny Edwards? Maybe she fucks with Sonny Edwards. Like, that's I guarantee you Bam Rodriguez never reached out to Claressa Shields. I guarantee you Sonny Edwards reached out to, Claressa Shields. So that's why I don't really know if there's any hating. The Mexican G goes, are you fucking joking? She always tries to downplay the skills of a Mexican. She says subliminal shots at us. Look, man.
I like how you say it.
To be honest with you, I don't really be on the social media like that, bro. So I don't know if she, sends shots. I know that a lot of people in the past have mentioned, that they be taking shots at each other. I know that I used to on my feed. His name is no, not Barbados Boxing. It's give me one of those like Latino social media.
Boxeo cubano.
What was it? No, not Escuela Cubano.
Boxeo cubano.
Nah, not Boxeo Cubano.
Aitiro?
No, he always would go back and forth with like, he would always like favor the Mexican or Latino, like Danny. The fuck is his name? Man, I don't remember, but I know that he would always.
The CCD?
Like, nah. Look, I don't really know, bro. I don't really get
Crazy Danny.
Crazy Danny. What's his page about? What's it called? Lalo's Boxing. There you go.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's what I meant. Lalo's Boxing. Yep. He would put a post and like Claressa Shields about, and then they would be going back and forth talking a gang of shit. And hella people would be slamming Claressa Shields. And I know, so she has this some type of like disgruntled feeling towards. I know what the Mexican G is talking about. I know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
So there are like some subliminals. But guess what, bro? Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, who gives a fuck? It's Claressa Shields. Like that's why, like, when Speed was like, "Oh, do you guys really want to go down this rabbit hole?" Whatever. It's like, honestly, I don't really care too much about Claressa Shields. Like, she's gonna accomplish what she's gonna accomplish. But guess what? Like, I don't really care. Her fights are boring. The only fight that was somewhat very entertaining was, I think it was Christina Hammer.
Yeah,
and
Marshall.
The girl with Savannah Marshall. But aside from that, like, I don't really care for Claressa.
Honestly,
or to go to MMA.
I like Savannah. I like watching Savannah Marshall better than I do Claressa Shields, I think.
I think Savannah's like very sloppy. She fights a lot like Tommy not Tommy Fury, like a lot of like Tyson
Luke
Fury.
Fury.
I fucking
Yeah.
hate watching Tyson Fury box, bro. He's a horrible fighter. Like,
But she
you know?
throws, bro, and she. This is the thing. I only seen her fight one other time. I think it was Frenchie on Cruz that she fought,
Yeah.
and that one was entertaining. But it's just, I think it's a style. It's a style that she needs to be going up against, because someone like Claressa Shields. I mean, that fight was entertaining. That was the most entertaining fight out of maybe both of their careers. So they were like going back and forth. That was a fight I needed to watch again, to be honest. Like, I think that rematch needs to happen again, but they need to, like, fight some familiar opponents, and I think that's what they're
Yeah.
doing. But
The
I think that's what they're
Mexican
doing.
G strikes back and he goes, Canelo would beat the dog shit out of Andre Ward. Agreed, bro. Agreed.
Who?
Of Andre Ward. If
Oh,
Andre Ward were to fight Canelo at 168 right now, or even when he was on his prime and Canelo knew how to cut off the ring, he would fuck up Andre Ward, bro. Andre Ward, I mean, horrible fighter. Just a fucking horrible fighter. All he has is a jab and a left hook. That ain't beating Canelo. That ain't beating Canelo Alvarez.
Whoa. He has more than that, homie Ricky.
Well, what
He
does
has
he
a
have?
hell of an uppercut to the balls.
Look, Canelo would beat the fuck out of him, bro.
yeah, leave balls out of it, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Canelo would beat Andre Ward. If Andre Ward decided to fight Canelo Alvarez toe-to-toe for 12 rounds, or just, not even toe-to-toe, just fight Canelo Alvarez, bro, Canelo would beat the fuck out of him. Hold on, man. Jew goes BRB, guys. For sure. Look, man, on this, what the fuck? On this topic, and then this topic, and then this notion, and then this boxing talk video. Nah, just fucking it up. Look, man, you got anything else that you want to talk about in regards to these two topics, or all tonight's speed? Because I feel like I'm pretty much done.
Well, I just wanted to wrap up the whole Shields thing, not by talking about the controversial things that are going on with her, but mostly about the fight, right? It seems that there was a time when Alicia Baumgartner and Claressa Shields were sparring a few years back, and it turns out that whatever Miss 130 pounder, probably even fighting back then at 125, Miss 130 pounder, Miss Alicia Baumgartner, saw in her performance on the sparring session with a fighter that's gone up as high as 168, Miss Claressa Shields. Whatever she saw in that sparring session, she was encouraged to tell her, wow, you and I would be a great fight at 147. Now, this was a little while back. Uncertain about the time of when that took place, but it came from Miss Alicia Baumgartner,
Yeah.
putting in some sparring work against Miss Claressa Shields a while back, that she said we should meet at 147. That would be great. Now, we do know that Miss Alicia Baumgartner has become undisputed at 130. We do know that Miss Claressa Shields has become undisputed, if not at 168, 160. But Miss Claressa Shields said, "Oh yeah, really?" And most recently, those comments came to the fore when she reminded herself, when she was reminded that Miss Alicia Baumgartner told her that, and Miss Claressa Shields said, "Whoa, I didn't know you and I were friends." Just like Miss, who's the girl from Top Rank, homie Ricky? She's a light-skinned, very good fight. Michaela Mayer. She said, "You girls are my Olympian and personal friends. I wouldn't want to fight you guys." But Miss Alicia Baumgartner says, "Bro, no friends." Right now, homie Ricky, my position about going to so many weight divisions up solely for money and unnecessary accomplishment. I am completely in disagreement of that. That's why I was in disagreement of Jamel Charlo and even Terence Crawford going up 2-3 divisions up to fight Canelo Alvarez solely for the money, when there is nothing to be gained by the bigger person, fighting the smaller individual. I don't want to see a much bigger, much more experienced fighter and Claressa Shields losing 20, 30 pounds to make it at 147, and the other one going up 15 or so pounds to make it at 147 for fighting at 130, right? Nonetheless, Miss Bumgarner said there is no friends. Now, funny enough, that Miss Claressa Shields is the one that told her, "We are friends. I wouldn't want to fight you," but she never said I wouldn't go down in weight, right? Now, you have to ask yourself this: a few years ago, homie Ricky, Miss Claressa Shields, actually just last year, around October the 28th of 2022, as reported by Keith Idek on a report on Boxing Scene titled "Shields, Me and Katie Taylor would be biggest fight in boxing, just not in women's boxing." I don't know what that means, but apparently she thinks that it would be a dream fight if she and Katie Taylor met at 147. Okay. Miss Katie Taylor has fought as high as 135. It basically became undisputed. And Miss Claressa Shields was the first one to say, "I would love to fight at 147 against Miss Taylor." So now we can say that she would be willing to come down for that fight. So I don't think Miss Claressa Shields would not necessarily come down in weight. I think she probably speaks on those kind of things because she probably knows she can with the proper, dedication, nutrition, and whatnot. I just wanted to say that Miss Claressa Shields has entertained that notion. So far, I have no evidence that she's tried to walk away from a Alicia Bumgarner 147 fight on account that it would be too much weight to cut. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that. But Miss Claressa Shields has talked about fighting at 147, which is probably something she has not done in a long time ago. Now, to wrap that part up, homie Ricky, there was something that I wanted to do real quick with you before we end this live. And last night, Showtime said goodbye to the sport of boxing, right? We had Morrell, David Morrell, who a lot of people think is the biggest threat for anybody at 168, including David Benavidez. Eventually, Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan. He beat up on this African fighter with a 22-2 record and I think about 18 knockouts. Sena Agbeko. He knocked him out. He knocked him down and stopped him in the second round. Sena Agbeko. He cried out that he thinks there may be he suspects drug use in the Morrell camp because he was promised that fight under WADA testing. But then the fight took place in Minnesota, where in Minnesota there is no need for drug testing. And we do know that Morrell has been fighting most of his fights in Minnesota. And now Agbeko is saying that he feels that PBC was being disingenuous about them leading up to that fight and drug testing when there was no drug testing ever involved. This is an accusation that a lot of people have levied against PBC fighters and their fights, that they never get drug tested. And whenever you read the contracts or you try to look into the weight stipulations, clauses, and whatnot, you never see who is being drug tested and who isn't. But the accusation has always been that PBC does not invest any type of money, which can be quite expensive, upwards of $5,000 or so for any type of test. The bigger the fight, the more they charge. And this is the fight that ended the history of Showtime's involvement in the sport of boxing. Homie Ricky, you guys talked about how Rayo Valenzuela, he ended up knocking out, and in a necessary rematch fight, the black Mexican Chris Kobe, right? We also had in a necessary rematch 10 years ex post facto between Gilroy's Robert Garcia, who is a man that I personally know, who we see his progeny in his nephew's fight. He had a rematch with a prior foe and uh, Andre Berto, and he ended up stopping Berto, if I'm not mistaken. I did not watch the Showtime fight. And then you had this controversial fight that ends in 2 rounds because David Morrell is just an aggressive fighter. Homie Ricky, I just wanted to tell you, right, that the type of fights that the Showtime has held have included Marvin Hagler, right, beating John Mugabe. That was the introduction for Showtime Boxing. They held multiple Mike Tyson pay per views. Evander Holyfield against Buster Douglas, Pernell Whitaker, Julio Cesar Chavez. The most incredible fight, my favorite fight of all time, Diego Corrales versus Jose Luis Castillo the first, took place on Showtime. Israel Vasquez Marquez, the 4-fight series, took place in Showtime. Multiple Floyd Mayweather fights. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Vladimir Klitschko versus Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Manny Pacquiao fights, Jake Paul, Errol Spence, Jordani Sugas, Undisputed, Crawford, Errol Spence. Homie Ricky, did Showtime go out with a bang or did they fizzle out? And will you miss it?
All year long, they went out with a bang, but I won't miss it. And they shouldn't be going out with a bang had they done their fucking job. A lot of these fights, they had all the roster. Every single fighter that was with Golden Boy Promotions, when they were in sync with Showtime and competing with Bob Arum and Top Rank on HBO, they were doing good fucking business. They had every single opportunity to build stars, to reinvest and restructure the sport of boxing that we know, and they fucking failed. No, I will not miss them. I miss the history and I miss the legacy. But will I miss the Weasel, Steven Espinoza? No, I won't. They've fallen behind the fucking wheel. You see, there's one thing that somebody steals their fighters, like what Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer did to Golden Boy Promotions, right? And there's another thing where you're at the throne. Top Rank is, flipping. They're moving from one network to another, HBO to ESPN. There's a new player in the zone. It was all for the right pickings. For Showtime, they had Canelo Alvarez. They had Tank Davis. They have all these stars. They didn't know what the fuck to do with it. Will I miss them? Was it an amazing run? I believe it was third. Absolutely. Eventually, they're going to get it right. They're going to give us a good fight. But unfortunately for them, I won't miss them. I don't know if DAZN or Amazon Prime, they're the answer to the sport of boxing that I love. I'm sure they aren't, because there's nothing really new under the sun with DAZN. They're a little better than Showtime, but they're not better than HBO. But they have hustle to them. I don't know when that hustle will stop. I don't know when it will burn out. But Eddie Hearn is young, and we'll see where he goes with it. As for Amazon Prime, like we talked about in their past, their sports content in terms of Thursday Night Football, it sucks, right? They might be getting a good game this Thursday between the Niners and the Baltimore Ravens for Christmas or so, but I don't know if that's even going to be on Amazon Prime or local channels. Look, man. Long story short, it's a little bittersweet because as you bring some memory fights, there are some good moments that Showtime had, but it's not about moments that you're supposed to have, right? You're in terms of on their end, for fans and for people living, we live for the moments that take our breath away, right? But when you're a business You're trying to build a structure, an empire.
Mhm.
They don't live for the moments. You're looking for the long game. And 37 years is long, but not long enough. They
Mhm.
had an opportunity where they had the world of sport of boxing at their palm of the fingers, at their hand, and they just couldn't bring it home. They fumbled. Nah,
Yeah.
man, they fumbled the opportunity. Paramount cut ties with them. Obviously, the rich get richer, so to speak. Steven Espinoza, he'll be fine. But it'll be the people that are up and coming, that started, that they're gonna take the biggest hit in terms of sports content and in terms of delivering. But yeah, it's gonna be. But yeah, man, I'm not gonna miss Showtime, bro. Their
L-
content, even for the buildup of Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, their all
Yeah.
access fucking sucked. So nah, man.
Look, homie Ricky, you mentioned something, right? You mentioned how the PBC had all the fighters, all of the Golden Boy fighters. They had opportunities to deal with about 10 different television networks. Two of the biggest ones, of course, being Fox and Showtime. They ended up always falling. Their contracts fell through. They weren't extended. A lot of fighters remained without work. We didn't see them again because of the fact that they always kept fights in house. Whenever they stepped outside of their comfort zone, most of the PBC fighters ended up losing to fighters from Golden Boy, Matchroom, Top Rank, even Queensbury, right? And we mentioned a couple of lives ago how one of the prior champions, who's always been an exciting fighter, uh, Manny Pacquiao's fighter, and what was his name? Homie Ricky. He just fought most recently for CBN Promotions.
Mark Magsayo.
Mark Magsayo. He is now fighting for a small Southern California outfit. He obviously was released. Eddie Hearn is apparently in deep conversations with Joran Boots Ennis to sign him, right? So if we read the tarot cards, we know what's coming. The PBC has 12 promised fight nights for 2024 with Amazon Prime, yet they have a roster of 150 fighters, many of which we've not seen fight in many a year. And I'm just going to read you some names, homie Ricky, so that we could just end this live. And I want you to tell me, do you think these guys will work or are they unemployed? Quadratillo Abu, Abu Kakarov, 147, 20 and 2. Unemployed, or is he going to fight for the PBC? Carlos Adames, employed, or is he going to fight for the PBC? Bortisov Akhmedov, Emmanuel Alim, Raiz Alim, Devin Alexander, Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan. Guess what? I think he has a job. Jerwin Ancajas, Filipino. Do you think he has a job, homie Ricky, or do you think he's released?
I don't know, man.
Demetrius Andrade, Michael Angeletti, Alfredo Angulo, Efetobor Apochi, Chris Ariola, Vincent Astrolabio, Angel Barrientos, Chavez Barrientos, Mario Barrios. I think Mario Barrios has a job. Francis Barthélemy, Leduan Barthélemy, David Benavides has a job. Jose Benavides Jr. is likely going to have a job. Andre Berto, of all the other fighters that I mentioned, homie, some of them undefeated, some of them much younger than this guy. Andre Berto, at 40 years of age, has a job. He just barely did it yesterday. Adrian Broner, he just got signed by King Promotions. I don't think he has a job with the PBC. Marcus Brown, Radzav Butayev, the guy who ended up fighting Stanionis, Mantis Stanionis. He hasn't fought for a year and something, almost two. Even though he put up one of the fights of the years of 2 years ago. John Riel Casimero, Brian Carlos Castaño.
All right, bro. We don't
And
need to do roll call. I get it. is gonna do.
Charlo, Clark, Colbert, Collazo, Crawford, Crowley, Isaac Cruz, Kershaw, Sewin, Davis, De Los Santos, Deloach, Demirison, Deremchenko, Durrell, Donaire, Dulai, Dolorme, Easter, Ellis, Homie Ricky. A lot of those fighters you haven't seen ever, and if you have, you've seen them years ago. A lot of those fighters don't have belts. A lot of those fighters, their names are hard to pronounce. You've seen the same fighters over and over and over again. They're all mostly black and they're all mostly American. Homie Ricky, there is about 150 fighters that I could have named that right off from the PBC roster that are going to be unemployed because the PBC cannot promise them work because the Amazon network is only willing to pay for 12 fight nights on account that the PBC has a very shoddy history of being able to elevate the sport and provide fan friendly fights on the cheap. Homie Ricky, do you feel bad for these fighters or do you actually feel optimistic that with the PBC having such a bad dire straits currently and so few opportunities to make these guys shine, do you think they will allow them to cross the street or contract out to make these fights and fighters happen with others?
No, I don't feel optimistic on that part of that last part of they're gonna cross over, but I am optimistic that those fighters, kind of like Butayev and company, will be fighting on other platforms. I do believe, they will keep them active, just not on Amazon. I don't feel that, for instance, PBC is going to let Tank Davis and David Benavidez fight, Canelo or Devin Haney on the zone. I don't feel optimistic about that aspect because they didn't do it in the past. Why would they do it now? Especially with a new client. No, they're going to try to keep a lot of in-house fights and probably poach some DAZN fighters to make the big fights happen. I do feel a little bit optimistic about what's his name, Eddie Hearn, doing business with Boots Ennis. I can see that realistic be an option. But yeah, no, man. I just feel that if Eddie Hearn is proper in doing his research and he talks to a lot of these managers to see which ones are in contract or which ones are able to walk away from PBC and fight somewhere else, I do feel optimistic about that. There are some fighters like you named, like the Alim brothers, Reese Alim and the other guy. I can see some of those fighters fighting over on, the zone,
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely,
Even Top Rank.
or even with Top Rank. But at the end of the
Golden
day,
Boy. Golden Boy's winning the pickup fights.
yeah. So, like I said, I do feel optimistic that they're going to be able to take some of those fighters. But I don't know. Al Heyman is very diligent. He's very stubborn. He sees his own vision and he sticks to it, whether if that's better or worse, probably for worse. But if he gives a fuck about his fighters, which that's what Al Heyman is known to do, care about his fighters and talk over the networks, then he should do great by them and let them fight on other networks. But again, I'm not going to hold my breath. Like I already stated in the beginning, I don't really feel too optimistic about the year of 2024 in boxing. I don't think we're going to get the fights that we want. I could be wrong, and hopefully I am wrong. But I don't think it's going to be better than 2023. Again, if we go down the list of amazing fights that we had in 2023, man, some of these fights were fights for a long time buildups. David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant, even Demetrius Andrade buildup, Ryan Garcia versus Tank, Teofimo Lopez. Let me see, Bud versus Crawford. I just don't think this year is going to get topped by next year. It's starting off to a good footing in the sense that Artur Beterbiev is fighting Callum Smith, I believe, in January. Virgil Ortiz is coming back on the 6th against some Frederick Lawson kid. So there are some fights to look into the future that might kick off 2024 relatively well. but I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm too optimally, like why would I be so optimistic? Boxing had a great year in 2023. There are fights to be made to continue the great momentum that boxing is leaving from this year on to next year, but that'll be predicated upon a few fighters if they fucking follow through. Fighters like Canelo versus David Benavidez, Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. Naoya Inoue, if he were to beat Marlon Tapales, does he stay at 122 or does he go to 126 and fight those fighters there, which he should? Is he going to stay and fight MJ Akhmadaliev? Will Anthony fight Wilder on March? If so, that's pretty good. Will Tyson Fury fight Alexander Usyk? No, there's a lot of great fights, but again, I don't know. It's predicated upon PBC. Obviously, it's predicated upon fucking if they want to inspire people and let them know boxing. Look, man, kind of like baseball, kind of like any other sport. Boxing can be at the forefront all over again. Boxing is not romantic. It's brutal. But it gives the casuals the ability that anybody can do it. You don't need to be 6'6". You can be chubby and fat like Andy Ruiz and knock out essentially a 6'6" fighter. You don't have to be the strongest. Guys like Paulie Malignaggi never had knockout power. They can do it. You don't have to be the slickest Whitaker. You can make a living if you have a great chin like Brandon Rios and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. You can make it in the sport of boxing because there's not just one way. There's many ways. Same could be said for the other sports as well. But the other ones, you need to go to college and, get a degree or, just be amazing and hit home runs and pitch 95 miles per hour. But in boxing, anybody can get a boxing license and really be competing. So boxing can be the greatest sport going into 2024. It just has to stop shooting itself on the foot. And guess what? Because Showtime is leaving, what would make you think that Amazon Prime is not asking those questions? Well, if these people left HBO and Showtime, you guys are clearly doing something wrong. So I'm not asking for some fucking fights. I also want the best. When the networks come, there's going to be a change. See, everybody talks about Bud Crawford went back and forth with Oscar De La Hoya and said, "Oh, you guys have to keep the fighters at the table. No more middlemen and all this." The networks are looking at it like, we tried your Floyd Mayweather way of pampering fighters. That's not going to fly no more. The networks are going to get the power all over again because they're the one putting up the bill. They're the one exposing you and bringing you to the media forefront and to the casual. Sure, you can do social media, right? But unless you got the vision and the hustle of the Jake Paul brothers and Logan Paul, good luck trying to do that. It doesn't happen to everybody. Look, man, it's going to be a change of the times, and it's going to go back to the power of the network. And guess what? The networks are the ones that built up the sport. When they were able to exploit the fighters, not when the fighters knew all the contracts and all the loopholes, that's when the sport started to die out. When people in the casuals were arguing about A side, B side, that's when the sport started to die out. They always had that in the past. It was just never up. The networks are going to cut out all the shenanigans and be like, nah, bro, you are what you're worth. Devin Haney and Regis Prograis, if you only sold 50,000 pay-per-view buys, guess what? You guys are worth less than $4 million a piece. Look, man, again, I'm not going to be optimistic about the sport of boxing because it is a dying sport. It shouldn't be. But if we look at sports and even college football, Stanford, Oregon, UCLA, USC, they don't have a division anymore. They're going to be competing and being shown on, the Eastern and the Southern colleges. They lost a bunch of contracts for Spotlight TV. And those are big collegiate programs. And we're talking about football, American football, USC, UCLA, that like 10 years ago, they were the schools to go to. They just lost on TV network deals to the point where their division, basically like sanctioning bodies in boxing, will no longer exist after like 20, 30 years. If even college football is taking a foot, you think these networks are going to give a fuck about boxing? Absolutely not. Look, man, on that note, you gave a list of a lot of fighters that do deserve a home on other platforms, like Top Rank, like The Zone, ESPN.
Mhm.
Maybe they can all fight on Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algier, and Juan Manuel Marquez's, you
Pro
know,
Box,
Pro Box.
Pro Box,
I like their content.
CBN Promotions, The
I don't know
Zone,
about CBN. I don't
Golden.
know Marvel Nation. Nah, I don't like that stuff. But Pro Box, that's legit. Their lighting, their commentary, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Look, man, the Mexican G comes back alive and he says, Paulie is a chump. He's a Brooklyn cop. Yeah, man, that's why he used to wear braids and color them.
yeah. Hey,
Paulie
he was
Malignaggi is that role. But let me tell you this, though. Paulie Malignaggi sometimes speaks facts. When he was talking about drug cheats and boxing and the lack of drug testing, he was correct on that. When he talks about Devin Haney, about how he shouldn't be undisputed because undisputed trumps, or he shouldn't have been a champion or an email champ because undisputed trumps a mandatory, he was correct. So when Paulie wants to speak facts, he can speak facts. And then when he wants to be ignorant and just talk his shit, he can do that too. You know what I mean? No
yeah.
one's perfect. But on that note, man, look, bro, I've been going on for too long, I'm losing my voice, and I'm just barely getting better. Speed, you have a good night, and thank you for all the people that tuned in tonight, man. It was pretty fun. Um, and yeah, it was good talking and reading you guys' comments, even though a lot of it is blasphemy. We're not gonna shut none of y'all out because
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah. Let me just say good night to everybody that happened to hop on and listen in. You guys definitely brought the heat. You guys definitely allowed us to engage you all, address your concerns, have us laugh at some of the accusations of being pro this or pro that, when in fact all we're trying to do is to credit all of our fighters. Nonetheless, Drew 123. Good night to you. Sports Archives. Sports Archives, Schlosker the Destroyer. Thank you for coming aboard, sir. Double G, likely that's gonna be um Ultra Instinct. Miss Bitch,
that's the
thank you
homie, right?
again for coming by. The Mexican G. And anybody else that was out there listening to us discuss all things boxing, from Claressa Shields to the PBC roster being unemployed, to Sonny Edwards being brave and demonstrating grit as he got pummeled to a pulp, and Bam Bam Rodriguez greatness at 112 and 115, and the perhaps misdirected and misappropriated accusations of being a ducker, because every time Junto Nakatani moves, he moves the other way around. Whatever it is that we discussed, I really do appreciate you, our listeners, for having stood in there, listened to us, criticized us, called us names, agreed with us, or learned something with us, and it's more importantly, when you guys taught us something. Thank you very much for that opportunity to hop on the live with you, the homie Ricky. This was a very incredible uh, participation of the 112 division to the outstanding year of boxing we've had so far. Everybody's put in work from 112, 115, 122, 130, 147, 140, 168, 175, and next week, ladies and gentlemen, the heavyweight division is going to have the opportunity to put their 2 cents in into why this year has been the greatest. Homie Ricky, always a pleasure, sir. I appreciate the opportunity. I wish all of you guys a farewell and a good night.